IESF America's qualifier here, myself, Scriven Naokai, to bring you through all of the action once again. 3 BO3s stacked up. We are starting to get towards the tail end of things, particularly in that South American region. That's where we're going to be kicking things off for today. Still not fully decided. Argentina are indeed through, as to be expected for that squad. The crew team, of course. They will, I believe, have already played their game out, right? So they're all good. It is down to just this jeopardy in the middle. We've got Chile and Team Brazil. Team Brazil maybe should have been locked in already, right? But they had this forfeit loss against Argentina. Would have been a tough game for them anyway, but we never got to see it, unfortunately, on that first day. So we now come in. It would appear, okay, so Uruguay forfeited their game against Argentina. No opportunity for them to qualify in, unfortunately, going down 0-2, so they opted to forfeit here this afternoon, which, you know, I can't blame them necessarily in a way, just because there's not really much for them on the line. Maybe the experience could have done them some good, but if they want to forfeit, that is fine. However, we've still got this big game in the middle here, the 1-1 teams, Brazil up against Chile. Yeah,
when you're playing against a pro team, do you really want to spend the next kind of 2 hours getting curb stomped a little bit? Maybe not. I can sort of understand it, right? If I'm Uruguay, they had a couple of decent opportunities, but I think ultimately for them, they're a team who don't have a hell of a lot of experience in terms of their players playing at that kind of top level, and I think because of that, it was always going to be a little bit tough. But, you know, generally speaking, I think we caught Uruguay a couple of times, and they did look, you know, like they had something there. So maybe next year we might see them become back with a team that is a little bit competitive and the rest. With Argentina being locked in, though, for them, that's obviously massive, locking themselves in towards the World Esports Championship. And I think they're a side who sort of deserve that spot in a way. We mentioned Crew as a team who have been playing a lot of that kind of top level within South America and the ECL, for example, and all the rest, and doing really, really good work, in all fairness, to them. So now we just got to decide this, and you're spot on, right? Realistically, Brazil might have even been able to have locked their spot in already if it wasn't for that forfeit loss. Who knows what could have happened? However, when they did play yesterday, they did look pretty good. So we're coming in towards this one with maybe a look in at saying potentially Brazil might be slight favorites, at least in terms of on paper. They looked actually pretty good, but we haven't actually seen what there is to bring to the table. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it's true. It is very, very true. I think, you know, this is a game that indeed is a little more open. I think what we managed to see from the Chile side was relatively impressive in places, right? A bit of a tougher game against Uruguay on that first day. And then, unfortunately, not quite able to match up against Crew, but the Dust 2 did come very, very close, right? So I think that's something that we kind of take away from this. And, yeah, we feel maybe Chile are able to find a map here. So little bit of a change-up in the schedule, I think. Unfortunately, this forfeit's probably come in pretty last minute. We've also got a bit of a forfeit on the North American side of things as well. We were actually going to be covering that game, but the Team USA against Panama is what we were going to be watching, and Panama ended up forfeiting as well. In the Group A side of things, to be fair to them, they have already locked themselves in, right? And again, also on the lower side of things, the Colombia-Honduras game isn't really for anything in terms of stakes, in terms of qualification. Both those teams have not made it in for Group A, right? Bit more clear-cut over there. We will still be covering that game, of course, to give some Counter-Strike on the screens here. Colombia-Honduras still want to play it off, and again, it would be good for either of those teams to pick up a victory. Both of them coming a little bit close in places. Again, Colombia bring things close against USA on the first day, on Dust 2. Honduras, a couple of nice maps maybe on the cards for them. It was a very, very tough showing yesterday, though, against Team USA, right? They 13-0, 13-2. We had that massive break in the middle, if you were around for that. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Honduras, maybe against Panama, had a bit more there. Colombia, meanwhile, potentially feel like they should be able to get the victory there. But the big game over in the North American side of things comes from Group B. Very similar sort of situation. Both these teams, Costa Rica, Guatemala, 1-1 at the moment. So whoever wins that is going to be qualifying through to the playoffs, taking place tomorrow. So a lot of action going down and a lot of jeopardy here in Game 1 and Game 3.
Yeah, exactly. For all the marbles in that one. So definitely excited to see what we get coming through in that final game of the day, of course. And, you know, for Canada, they've already locked their spot in. United States, regardless of the forfeit, would have already locked their spot in too. And both of them, I think, now are confirmed #1 seed in their groups, which means if they are going to play off, or if they were going to have that chance to play off, it would be in that grand final. It means that both of them do have the opportunity to make it to the World Esports Championship without having to sort of face each other, which I think as the #1 and 2 seed is as perfect as it gets in a way. You know, that's sort of how seeding works ultimately. This game, we mentioned, this is for the spot as well. Brazil taking on Chile. Winner of this game will be going to the World Esports Championships. It's as simple as that. Both of them currently sit 1-1. And we look at this with real open eyes about seeing, you know, we've seen kind of the best and maybe the worst out of Chile at times throughout this tournament. So we want to see maybe what Chile we get through, right? Because they've had their moments that look so damn clean, and other moments where maybe a couple of mistakes really start to hinder them. Brazil, for us, feel like a little bit of an unknown quantity in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We've not had a chance to cover them just yet. We would have grabbed them on that first day. We did a lot of talking about this team, so we'll see if we can go back towards that. Maybe you were here on the first day. We had quite a hefty delay waiting for them getting in, and then eventually they didn't get in. We swapped games over. But this is the roster, of course: BKS, Sank, NC, FP1, and SKL. So FP1 comes in as the most recognizable name on this team, having been around for a little while, actually, towards the 30 he is. But he's been on a number of teams, like dating all the way back to 2016, in and around this Brazilian scene for a long time. And then, of course, the team itself at the moment is playing under Tilt Fox. So still a professional squad, but certainly a squad that, you know, if you went to go and have a bit of a look and try and find some info on them, it would be a bit tougher, right? Because they're not necessarily in the ECLs or even getting onto HLTV. So it kind of comes in at a more open level in the Brazilian scene, still working their way up, as it were, as a team. So we'll see what they're able to bring to this game.
Yeah, exactly. I think we look at this as well and kind of, we want to see maybe that Brazilian flair come through. It's something that was either seen really showcase time and time again where they get given that opportunity. They're a very, very cool region with a lot of Counter-Strike talent, and maybe, you know, in comparison to maybe some of the European teams who don't have as many of those big names come through, but it's a busy tail end of the year as well, and even the start of the season here, especially in South America, that has a lot of domestic competition. So maybe for them are unable to sort of come through. This did come through a qualifier called Tilt, under the name of Tilt Fox. So we'll see. Chile on the other side, of course, we've caught these guys already, and there is actually quite a lot to like on this team. Kratzen, Dopweek, Orphan, Wait, Zin, and Alexa, and obviously J-Star's had his moments as well as a substitute who's come in for his moments at times as well. But this is a side that's already given us a few real highlight moments. I mean, Kratzen's looked very solid when he's been given the opportunities. Dopweek's looked clean on the AWP as well when he's also stepped up. Waitsin's had his moments too. He's been a real kind of difference maker. Alexa, when he's playing at the form we know he can, also is able to really step up. So they have a lot of different facets of where they can find firepower, this Chile side, and they're going to need that heading in towards this one. In a similar vein towards Brazil, these aren't guys who play at that top level or on a real consistent basis. They're a little bit more of a mix as well in comparison to Brazil, who are a kind of a full 5. So in that sense, maybe slight advantage more in favor of Brazil in that sense, just because they might have a little bit of a deeper strat book. But ultimately, we've caught Chile. We know what they're like as a quantity, and they've been pretty good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There's certainly some moments in here. Certainly, I would say maybe 1 or 2 maps where we look towards them as being pretty impressive. We figured it should have been a 2-0 for them against Uruguay. They had a bit of a drop-off there in the second half of Mirage, if I'm remembering correctly, on that first day. So, you know, they have had some difficulties in places. We've got the veto here, though, to go over, of course. Now, the Dust 2 coming out as the Chile pick. It wasn't in on that first day. It was, I believe, their pick yesterday against Argentina. It was the map that they brought very, very close. Definitely made Argentina work for that, which... Actually, no, it was the Argentina pick yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair. Because it is a favorite of Crew, the team. So it maybe comes through as a bit of a surprise. Maybe it's a bit of recency bias on it just because of how well they perform there. Then we get the Anubis out from Team Brazil here and Mirage as that decider. So the Anubis, actually a map that we've not seen an awful lot of on stream in general, but definitely not from the South American qualifier. I think this is the second Anubis that we're getting out. Again, Brazil, maybe recency for them. They played it in their third map against Uruguay yesterday.
Yeah, this is a super puggy veto in general. We see a lot of those maps that are a little bit tougher to break down. I think Inferno has kind of gone away from being puggy and is now a little bit more kind of tactically based in a sense. And of course, Vertigo and Nuke are the two most strategic maps we've got in a sense because of the util sets that are an absolute necessity rather than, you know, just a helpful kind of addition as the way it is in towards maps. Like, for example, Mirage or Dust 2 in a sense. Dust 2 is a big one, though. I do think on the other side, for Brazil as a region, it's always been a map in which they've absolutely loved. And it dates back to kind of some of the big names in the real past. I mean, even if you look towards kind of even Fury and Al, those guys have always been really sick on this map. But I'm talking like SK, Luminosity. I mean, those Dust 2 is a map in which they've always had as part of their pool in some way. And I think, you know, for Brazil as a region, it's something that I think everybody sort of plays to quite a high level. I've got a friend of mine who's Brazilian, and he just says it's just sort of part of our Counter-Strike culture. Yeah, and whenever I play with him, you know, I'm on like 100 ping, he's on 100 ping as we meet in like kind of North American East kind of servers. And yeah, he always just says sort of Dust 2 is just synonymous with the Brazilian Counter-Strike culture. So there is that also risk there where I do think that Brazil are going to have a pretty good idea about what to do here. It's a tough veto in the sense that because it is so puggy, if somebody just has an off day, or if a team has an off day, I think you can get blown out of the water before you really even know anything about it or how to kind of help fix yourself out of these situations. So it's one of those where, you know, Brazil could come in towards us to set the tone real early, and it could even be enough to spiral in towards the series.
Yeah, it's very, very true, actually. I think, you know, it comes round as a dangerous sort of map in that sense, but at the same time, I think there's going to be some tape to work off of for Chile. They obviously feel pretty confident around it just with how close they were able to bring it. So if they've gone away and you know, done that work as well, which there's been plenty of time for, right? That's sort of one of the things with a qualifier like this. Are you having to focus on loads of other tournaments? Probably not if you're a team like Chile, right? So you can come through and put the prep in and get very ready for the game today. Obviously, there's a lot of weight on this one as well. So I would be surprised if the Dust 2 in a way hasn't improved, at least from the way that it will function for them here. Whether they're able to translate that against Brazil is another question, but it also flips the other way that, like, Team Brazil will be somewhat prepared. They'll be like, okay, these guys, they like this map, they were decent on it, we're expecting it in the veto potentially, so let's make sure we are also prepared for that. Very, very curious to see how things are going to pan out here with Dust 2 in particular. But I think moving forwards, like into the entire series, I really don't know what to expect out from Brazil. They beat Uruguay yesterday. It wasn't the cleanest, you know. They, for me, should be taking that team down pretty handily. We've seen Uruguay potentially look like our shakiest team in the entire qualifier, unfortunately. Obviously, they're out in 2 ultimately, but even just the way that the maps have gone down for them, there's not loads in there as a unit. They were just very, very aggressive and relying on those individuals to get firing, and they did have some, you know, good numbers in there for sure. I think ZLN impressed us. KVNS was a pretty clean player as well, but for me, I think Brazil should have been taking them down 2-0. Maybe they should have done that regardless. It went to overtime, the map that Uruguay were able to win, so it's difficult to say here, but I think that Brazil might have a few vulnerabilities in there now.
Yes, no, exactly. I mean, that is the big thing I look at this. I think there's one other key point that we've seen throughout both the North American and the South American qualifiers. It's a point we raised a lot yesterday, but maybe might be a little bit different in towards this specific game, is about the CT sides. I think they've become across the board a real weakness that we brought up time and time again. We saw it and basically, you know, we've kind of caught Guatemala all the way through. They're a prime example because every series we've had out for them, it's always been built up upon their T sides rather than their CT. And this could be a similar thing that we already saw with Chile. It was actually a bit of an example for them as well. They had a few issues when it came towards setting up their CT side properly, but the T side was very clean, very aggressive, kind of all the good things that you want to see. However, because Brazil are a team, or at least in sort of loose quotation marks as Tilt Fox, they might have spent a little bit more time working together, have a bit of synergy, have a bit of that cohesion, which is something that the Mixia sides on the CT have really struggled with. You could see there's a lot of gaps in the armor. They're maybe not communicating as well as they probably should be, and that is causing a few rifts in this defense. And that might be something that Brazil do have the ability to clean up, just because, like you said, they are a team in maybe, even if it is a little bit of a loose sense, is a bit more just kind of a part-time sort of type of thing. It's still better than nothing, right? So I think they still would have put a bit of server work in and all the rest. Get their positions cleanly taken. No really overlapping roles or anything of the sort.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is maybe something that's going to give them the upper hand here. And indeed, I feel that they should have that kind of game available to them. Yeah, just coming in under a banner really does paint a bit of a picture. And it's also one of those things as well that we don't know as much about the teams that are not necessarily listed under a team. It's like, do they play together regularly? Have they just kind of come together? You know, is it a crop of like the best players? Maybe 2 of them know each other, the other 3 know each other, and then they've kind of had to work it out. And there's one guy that doesn't want to play Bianca and has been sort of forced into it. Whereas, yeah, like you say, on the Brazil side, the Argentina side, they come through knowing what's up and maybe having handpicked things in that sort of team fashion. They've already gotten through the idea of, oh, I don't want to play this, I don't want to play that. So very, very curious to know here, but I do feel there's some good history for Chile in this qualifier, especially on this map, to give us a bit of a game, and we are indeed into it here, folks. So Counter-Strike getting underway. A long evening ahead once again for the enjoyers of CS, but out on Dust 2, it'll be Chile on the T side, Brazil on the CT end.
Okay. All goes momentarily a little quiet. First fight probably going to be taken towards lower. And see you spotted him. 1 minute 20 in the first 30 seconds has not been a hell of a lot happening here. Slight tag on toward FP1, but not really too much of an issue. Gratson actually going to boost one up here for the lower player. Dopweek going to get his kill, though. Julie's up close, also going to fall as well. I'm so surprised that BKS is not even tempting to trade there. He just allows Dopweek to swing out and get a double.
Yeah, kind of wild. And the kills keep rolling in here for the T side as well. Bomb going down to lock it in. SKL spotted. Trying to take some names with him. It looks pretty clinical, to be fair to him. Kill bonus here for the follow-up round. Maybe a little bit of threat, you know, because he has found those 2 kills in quite good time. Probably going to recognize that they're all split, but he's being just overwhelmed, unfortunately. So no more come in for him. Chile to take the pistol in pretty clean fashion. We'll see now what the round is going to look like from Brazil. Are we forcing in or are we ecoing it out?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a very weird one that we saw there. Again, so Dobby gets his kill here. On sight, it looks like BK just loses track of him. I don't know, it feels a little weird there, but definitely should be contacting straight away. As Dopweek's fighting in towards CT, should be trying to level it kind of off the rip, but unfortunately it didn't happen. I don't know, Brazil look a little shaky there for our first round that we've caught of them, and it's not going to start too well in towards the second one of it. Dopweek going to double down again before he's traded, so walking away 2 for 1 in the rounds we've seen so far is not bad from him. He's been pretty good. When this side have done well, he's been uber important.
Yeah, 100%. The eagle shot does come in, but Alexa will manage to find a couple of kills on the scout. Gets that AK recovered as well, so no real sweat for Chile in that one, but always nice on the other side of things to keep the damage coming, right? Take a couple of guns away. All the same, we'll be now moving into this first rifle pretty quickly as the game has fully gotten underway, it feels like. It's a decent buyout from Brazil as well. Good amount of utility to work with, so we'll see what they have in store for us. Going to be a battle towards long. They're leaving it open, and that might be their downfall, to be fair. They were focusing more on taking the fights and getting in there rather than, you know, the conventional sort of smoke or molly. Definitely the smoke more these days, to be honest. Seems like it does come in, but it's kind of late, and they've lost 2 players, so it doesn't really make much of a difference for Team Brazil. This is good for Chile.
This, absolutely. Alexa, nice find there. Really nicely done. I mean, just tracks him through that smoke. Bottom one. There's advantage heavily taken for Chile here, and this gun round for Brazil not looking good at all. They're left down to 2, and a tough one. I mean, a lot of damage has been dealt in all fairness, but Is it going to make a difference? I don't think so.
Top weak up towards short. If he finds this kill, it will indeed lock the round in, but there's still a bit of hope for NC. However, perfectly timed. Chile looking good. It's only early stages, but a very dominating round here to sort of open up the true Counter-Strike, as it were. And again, some really nice moments. Coordination looking good. But we'll see. Okay, I will say, although the rifle rounds indeed are clean, first of all, we've seen, you know, this team crumble in places. But also, I think there is a little bit of RNG based on spawns and whatnot there for a long push, right? So it is something to consider at this early stage of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Escape going out one. Shredded out immediately, though, at the end there. By Alexa, at range. Nice and simple. 3-2-0. Lots to like so far. Lots to like coming through from Chile, though. I think at least, while the game plan, like you said, has been a little bit loose, maybe we can talk about RNG and all the rest in some of these instances. One thing that hasn't been a question mark has actually just been the mechanics of a few guys over towards Chile. In particular, Dop Week is a bit of a consistent force to be reckoned with so far, and at least if you keep him firing on all cylinders, I have no complaints. Javstar and Kratzen really haven't had too many opportunities to do anything.
Yeah, it's true. PKS. Oh, nice little find, and there's an earlier tag, so it's a one-tap and he's out. Big question marks for Chile. That comes pretty far back, obviously, so they kind of sat in here like, oh, we've got to be careful. Is there more of them? A long clear ahead, and FP1's in a good position to maybe try and force a timing, but it doesn't look like he wants to move in. Just keeping the information at the long hauls. They've got a man as well with that scout watching top middle, so he can say, I've not seen any presence on short at the moment. Therefore, they have a lot of info to work with. Another tag landing. 5v4 does not look bad here for Brazil.
No, not at all. Jeff Start making a little move to try and catch somebody off guard. He might actually potentially get one. They're tempted to fight Brazil. So far, there's not really been given too many opportunities. You got range, good. Get a trade and will. NT looking for two. We'll get a reload off before they start moving in towards his site. One more into his back car. Another playing close in as the rotations are coming through. This is looking like a tough push. And it's all down to one man. Alexa will fall. And Brazil are walking away with what is basically a full eco. And they're doing it with, you know, just pistols like that. I mean, that is a massive one to take. Yeah, weird one. Chile just get completely caught off guard and just continue forcing in towards that site. Even though it's probably the worst thing they could have done.
Yeah, man. Problematic. Very, very problematic indeed. A big steal for Brazil. And this is one of the things as well. They're always going to be capable of rounds with that team play. The communication, super, super clean there, right? They had the advanced position. They were like, okay, we can maybe get a bit more aggressive towards middle. Tags landing. It's like, all right, this is in our hands, guys. We don't have to overstep. And that is something that has been the big difference across both qualifiers in the teams versus the sort of country, as it were, the mixers, where you have one or two players that have a bit of a penchant for getting aggressive and they can cost you a few rounds. Not quite the case in that round for Chile, but certainly something to keep your eyes on.
True. Very true. Alexa posted with the AWP. Making a move. We've got two towards lower, one in towards mid, one on cat, one towards top mid with the AWP. They're set up very mid-heavy lean. Not a lot of presence shown elsewhere, and they're going to hope that at least something's gifted over to them in terms of information. Three making their way up towards short, however. It looks like it wants to be an A finish. And now the bomb collected, they might commit towards that.
PKS. Good spot for him here if he can make it work. He's got to be careful not to go too early, though. The AWP is trained. He's got a teammate in as well. I like this. Double stack on ramp. Could be big. Molotov comes in. It does not quite reach. They're actually pulling away. They like Dopwick's position. And it's probably a good idea, to be honest with you. SKL, back end of Plat. So much damage. It's just not quite on it. Maybe his crosshair, you know, that millimeter too high, making all the difference. It felt like, you know, he was pretty close to a lot of them, but just nothing coming out of the end of the gun, really. Down to just 3 then for the CT side. They're here quite quickly. Door's not smoked off. However, no one on the other side of it. So Chile playing it quite well, that they understand the danger area. We'll see. Presence being made here by Brazil. Slowly moving in. Flash comes over the top and the burst to join it, but the business end of the AK is pretty nasty. Might even lose everybody here. That's what they're looking for. Dopweek does well, and a big round out from him.
Yeah, massive. It looked a little shaky at one point right there. You know, they were moving up towards shore, and there was quite a decent amount of A presence. I think because of that, if Brazil had actually got that fight on towards the A side, it potentially could have gone their way. But Dopweek doubles back. He goes back over towards mid, has a check, spots one and drops him. And in that fight, it then gives Chile a bit of an opener to work with to say, hey, well, you know, worst case scenario is only max one more over towards this side. We've already seen a fairly decent amount of presence out towards A itself. We should go B here because we can just basically play the numbers game. And that's what they do. A good one to find for Chile. A buyback in for Brazil, but one in which is a little haphazardly. The pop flash is great. They go through it. They're going to clear it. But he's still going to walk away with a kill in nearly a second.
Yeah, be happy with that for sure. Decent trade-off for the information. You can see the CT side are bolstering it up. A late move towards long, and it looks good. There it is. They overswing in exactly what NC was after. Fantastic two-piece comes round from him. Orphan left in at middle, being this lurking presence, but there's no chance for him now.
Yeah, for Orphan, this is tough. What do we do here? 1v3. One of which is low. He's going to try to sneak under. Your guess is there to meet them. Honestly, even the small thing like that MP9 getting nearly a second kill when it probably shouldn't have even got one is a bit of an oversight coming through from Chile. But on the other side too, a really, really nice round coming forward for Brazil. One in which is replicable. You know, great long control come through. The fights are great. Supporting Util behind them that's giving them a lot of space there, I think is super important. Those are the sort of rounds that you can start to continuously make work in your favor. And I think in a round like that, your belt isn't bad. Oh, Elect with a scout. Beats out the AWP. That is a beaut.
And see, good find from him around the smoke, though. Keeping Brazil in it always. Nearly a drop onto Sank. So it hangs a bit in the balance this round for sure. NC going back round for a little more here, but not biting off too much. They decide to back away. Team Brazil, again, you know, it is that level of coordination. The entire map moves back at the same moment. Sank. Oh, that timing is rough. FP1 going to go down because maybe thought his teammate was holding it. Oh, and Dopweek with a clean headshot. Site taken. Probably a save out here from the B-boys. Chile back on the board.
Okay. Gonna dip back, and I think we're calling for the save here. Yeah, most definitely. It looked for a moment like they were tempted to stick around in towards at least mid/CT, see if they can make a fight work, but they opt against it. And in the end, they'll just keep hold of the AWP. Had the AK-47. The new cross as well, just in case the AWP was posted too. Not bad. Not bad. No real complaints. We are going to see another round go in favor of Chile, who, again, right, you know, while there has been that hiccup of that previous round, for the most part, have been so solid throughout. This is a really good indication of it, right? Another really good round that comes through for the T side. They aren't really tested massively. And I think now is getting to the point where I wouldn't mind seeing a pause out for Brazil. Let's slow things down, shall we, fellas? Let's have a little conversation. Things aren't exactly going to plan right now. And yes, this is Chile's map pick. And they are on the T side, which we know is their stronger side. But still, fundamentally, a little concerning from what we've seen out from the CTs. They've been, yeah, really struggling.
Yeah, it's true. It is true as yet to really make a mark on the game. In at long once again. The mix-ups over here have been pretty big, you know, whether it's the late round CT take or what we're seeing in this round with slightly later push in, more calculated push with the flashes and whatnot over the top. Nothing given here. PKS will manage to find that first, however. The AWP, of course, is difficult to deal with. Chile a man down already.
Spam does is close, but a cigar. Kratzen falling. I mean, Kratzen's had a real slow game. Has been a tough one, to say the least. $50 seconds of moving back over towards long. This is a tough spot again because you got one corner player who's pretty standard stuff over here, but deep in this angle. M4 ready to fight as well. Top weak, no quantity, and he will fall with ease.
That's a big deal. Gives them a solid advantage to work with now. Looks like the B bomb site will be our last hope. Chile, nades coming in. SKL much more ready this time around. Big damage. USP is out as well. He's dealt with, but surely has done enough. Ooh, maybe even the bomb plant would be nice given where they were at, but FP1, he's way too close to the action here. And indeed will cancel it. So, Brazil, some initial finds from them. The AWP in particular, getting into an aggressive spot really makes the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, at the very least, keeping this open a little bit, I think is the main thing. Buyout for Chile. It's going to be a little funky too. I think we're probably half buying here. Looks like that's going to be the case. No, that's a lie. Double scout, AK-47. The scout and the AK are then sold. A little indecisive here, Chile, I think. But we're going to opt for a half to low buy as they realize having a full buy back in towards the next is probably the most important thing, rather than trying to be a little bit too risque here.
Yeah, definitely true. SKL, once again in a strong spot. He's enjoying his back plat position. Sometimes looks clean, sometimes a little bit off. You know, it is one of the harder ones to judge properly, let's say. It should be all good into this round. Oh my, okay. I think he even jumped into that, Neo. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty sure it wasn't on, and then he jumped into the bullet. I don't think it can get any more tilting than that, you know. Mental. Absolutely mental.
All right. Oh, though. Going to post up on towards short. So the scout's done good work to open things up, but on the other side too, an AWP wait. Pretty simple. It normally is to get one and fall away, but that first kill not found. One is known towards backside. They're trying to overwhelm. The Glock's going to find him. The Deagle going to get 1-2. Oh, no. We're letting this slip. Kratzen. What a shot for him to finally get his first kill on the board.
Okay, let's see. Can we do anything with this position here, Chile? They absolutely have got to convert this one and see. He had a few more bullets. We would have been on. However, not going to be the case for him. The A1S letting him down, eh? Situations like that, of course, he wishes he had an A4. But all starts with a pretty explosive one. Again, it does seem like we're looking down some pretty pick-based Counter-Strike here. I think both teams struggling to convert 4v5s or indeed even make them competitive. So that is certainly something to consider rolling into the next few rounds where those first kills go down.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's unfortunately a pause of a technical nature rather than a tactical one as we pump the brakes a little bit here. So what can you do? But a 6-3 scoreline for Chile. Already pretty good. Not a huge amount that you can really complain about so far from Chile. I mean, there's been a couple of hiccup moments, but they've dictated the pace and the tempo of this game pretty well, I would say. I think they've looked quite clean. They've looked pretty good for the most part, Chile. We know they have the individuals to do so, and so far, some of them have really started to shine. Orphans at those moments, but in particular, it's all been about Dopweek, who consistently keeps getting away with kind of a couple of kills around at this point. Yeah, decent spot here, but unfortunately, a tech pause. What can you do?
Well, indeed, that is the big question. Comes from the side of Brazil, so hopefully not going to be waiting too long on this one. I am, you know, touching wood, as they say, in this country. I think it's knock on wood in North America. Not sure if you are Brazilian, do whatever you do for good luck, you know, the good omens. Just because this team did have some issues on the first day. So I'm a little bit like, you know, hoping that we don't have that happen to us here at the moment. I mean, they've looked good. I don't notice anyone sort of lagging around or whatever it may be.
That's right.
And it seems like we are back into it pretty quickly here now.
There we go. Nice and easy. Just a brief one. I think normally if it's pauses that are sort of that short in nature, normally something along the lines of like a TeamSpeak issue or maybe a little bit of packet loss, something that can be fixed with a little bit of time more than anything. We are back live. 6-3, however, Chile looking pretty good. But I'll say it once again, you know, it's all well and good putting up these, you know, decent T sides, but it's the CT sides that have been letting down most teams throughout this qualifier so far. Maybe bar United States and Canada. So I'm still a little bit tentative. It's all well and good that Chile are doing good numbers here, but I still feel like I need to see a little bit more, especially when we get towards that CT. That's going to be the real one that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on.
Yeah, big time. 1 for 1 so far in this round. Pretty quickly down middle. See what Chile can bring. The long area is completely open. That's exactly where they are headed towards here as well. So, assuming there's going to be some space for them to work with. Brazil will start to at least keep an eye on A, but, I mean, given this amount of control across for free as well, you know, it's no cost to the utility, no info given away with nades and the sort. So we need this buy to work for Brazil. Smoke going to come over the top. Quite close to it. Might be a bit unexpected. There is a bit of a gap in the edge of it. Sank, however, not looking to stick around and abuse that. Pre-fire goes wrong. And the MP9 holding down the line ever so slightly. Smart moves with the Molotov, though. Put him under some pressure. Meanwhile, from long, SKL does manage to find a kill. If he had the M4, could have been devastating. A really quick flank from him will keep them distracted. The new elevator coming into play. Tip of the head spotted, and Javstar takes him down second time of asking. So just going to be a 17 HP SKL to try and save the day. He's been heard now, and I think he's also acutely aware of this man in on site. Knows he'll be covered. Just futile, isn't it? Take what you have into the next. Try and make some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's that. I mean, an MP9, it's better than nothing. I say with a loose term. I mean, it's a tough thing to say because the buy around is going to be pretty unfortunate as well. They've got loss bonus, yes, but it's still not sufficient enough to squeeze out a good enough buy or anything of the sort. So you got an MP9 saved, and that's it, really. I mean, it probably should be, for the most part, he's a bit of a freebie of a round coming in towards this next. Chile should get up to an 8th. I mean, already 8 rounds on T-side is pretty good if we're talking, you know, kind of normally, right? But I still am always keeping that caveat out that CT sides are being the real inherent weakness more than anything. So for Brazil, maybe you might see the spark start to fly properly in towards that second half. Oh, into mid. NC tries to get active, gets caught.
Ooh, Alex looking good here as well. Keeps them coming. This is kind of an area of the game that's been a bit missing for Chile, is the AWP. And, well, as soon as it comes out, it is pretty impressive. SKL wanted some cash money. He's now going to have to really fight for it, as he's all alone. And I think they'll kind of have a good idea. He's been up and around this B-bomb site pretty consistently. So there you see Orphan ready for that kind of a move. Flawless one for Chile here, giving them the 8, which is a really nice position to be in, flipping over and now threatening the 9 as well. Big deal here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you'd normally say 8 rounds on DOS2 is enough, right? But I feel like we sort of learn our lessons a little bit of being a little bit too optimistic. Many a 9-3 half has been flipped on its head, as we saw yesterday. So I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet about Chile seeing this off comfortably. But so far, they're definitely not on the better side. No two ways about it. Buy in for Brazil to I mean, hope something can come forward for them in this final round. Make an 8-4 out of it. 8-4 is workable. 9-3 is considerably tougher, though. Especially if you lose a pistol, it already feels like you're 1 foot in the grave. Yes, going to get the first and the second before he's traded. However, that's pretty good.
Solid find. Gives them an advantage. So we have seen this be pretty paramount for Team Brazil. When they're ahead, they play pretty well. Ooh, SKL baited in, nearly drops. A dangerous move, and the nade takes him. They will enjoy the numbers, though, of course, and just thinning out Chile here on the attack.
Okay. P1. Posted over towards site. Might get a pretty good chance here. Dopweek trying to clear, and he will. That's a lovely shot from Dopweek. Really nice one. Now really going to give a chance in towards this one. In all fairness, might be something on the cards. 2v2. And make that 2v1 as Dopweek does his due diligence. He understands there is a possibility of a flank here. And he'll catch him.
All right, let's see. What can NC do? They've got to revive this. They've got to win this round, Brazil, surely. But I say they. It's just down to one man now in from short. So much noise being made. And discipline here. Flash comes out. Timing a bit off. Javstar blinded, but it does keep the CT at bay. NC tries his best, but a clean one to end it. And Chile with the 9-3 half. Looking very impressive here. Team Brazil not really able to get themselves going. And I would say that the rounds they picked up were off the back of a few Chilean slip-ups.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, if Chile had made no mistakes, there is a strong argument to say that maybe Brazil only get like one round out of that. I think, you know, definitely shouldn't have lost the full pistols where they just kept pushing on towards B. That never should have happened. So, yeah, I mean, you can look at it ultimately. It's a really clean half of Counter-Strike out for Chile. I don't think there's really too much that you can complain about. However, I'm still just keeping the pinch of salt about their CT sides, which have been a little rough, especially for teams that are of a more mixier nature. Even look at this now. You got one player over towards Carr, that Kratzu. He's had a bit of a slow game, in all fairness, especially by his standards. And he has no support. Now he's getting it, but if Brazil had gone for a quick long play, he would have been in a lot of trouble. Thankfully, that isn't what they've gone for. Slow and steady as they move their way forward. A CT smoke being set up as well. And they've got basically three people are now here to fight.
Kratson on this corner is the one that I'm watching. Flash comes in. It's pretty effective, but he's unable to find any kills. They now know about him. Some very, very low HP bars, though, on both sides of the equation, unfortunately. Kratson tries his best, but just cannot survive them. Dot weak. Headshot's not landing, and that's what they need. You know, if there was a P250 or a pair of Julies in here, it could have been devastating. But with the USPs, everybody's aiming for the head, right? Doesn't make a difference for the most part if they're low or not, especially in the 1 versus 4 now. He's locked in. There's no way.
Yeah, no chance. Absolutely no chance. Consolations would be nice. We'll get one, in all fairness, with the Julies. Aforementioned, but too late in this situation. Yes, I'm going to try and catch him on the way out as well, as he's still sticking around for the fight, in all fairness. Eventually, it is BKS who drops him off, as it will be Brazil taking first blood in towards the second half. And honestly, a pretty clean pistol. Again, right, we had our worries, as we saw in, you know, our kind of previous days of Counter-Strike, where the CT side is always a lot tougher to get going. And in that instance, exactly that. We are going to look at a force buy here, though, for Chile. I mean, they have plenty of rounds to work with, but lose this, and it means that Brazil can really chip away that deficit quite rapidly.
It is true. All right, let's see. Scout spamming away through the smoke. No lucky frags, though, this time around. Just nothing happening here. But the double scout, I kind of do like. You know, scouts over deagles is a force buy with a bit of identity to it at the very least.
Sure.
They work well together. Got good range. So we'll see if they can do something with that. I don't know if a good idea, is going to be enough to win them the round, of course.
Molotov Gonna go towards back plat. Nobody there. Nade on the left-hand side. Similar story. Nobody's there. Just testing towards B, and fundamentally nothing really gained. Right? No information, which in a way could be seen as information. Nobody really fought us. Nobody's trying to at least test the guns that we have. Maybe there's actually a lot of presence there. They're trying to bait us in. So let's go and check elsewhere and see what we can find.
Kratzen. Good angle for him. Maybe needs Jav start on the support who's watching short, though. So it's a bit of a weaker A hold. Kratzen not going to be pulled away. He knows this angle. Can he get all of them? Got his own flash. The scout out here to help him. Doesn't land a tag, and he will go down. Sank with potentially a round-saving couple of kills. However, CT left open. The Deagles rain holy hellfire and will manage to bring the 3 versus 2 into fruition.
All right. Maybe on the cards here. 2 coming through from Blanc. The first fight in the open, SKL. I don't even know why we're standing in the open. And his teammate going to fall as well. Chile pull off a force-by win off the back of, I mean, a sumptuous double Deagle opener, but some really questionable post-plant setups in that 3 versus 2. They, you know, their opponents are not going to be coming in with the best weaponry, but you're gifting them the fights there. SKL open towards long. Should you be doing that? No, most definitely not. And on site, just gets caught as well. What can you really do? I mean, look at these first 2 shots are brilliant. Kratzen had a bit of a slow game, but does really well to make something out of that. And even though he does fall, ultimately kind of goes straight away off the rip, he just buys time coming through. And Alexa at range, catching that side player. Chile 10-4. Brazil back on the back foot.
Well, we'll see. They will be absolutely kicking themselves after that one, of course. Can they give us anything to make us believe? Of course, there will be a couple more maps potentially on the cards from this one. So they have a bit more space. This is the pick of Chile. We've got Anubis coming up next in favor of Brazil. Alexa trained at the back end here, looking comfortable. And the smoke is perfectly timed, right? They get a kill, smoke down, no chance of a response.
Okay. Well, they might go through the smoke and they're going to catch Chapstar off guard. Hey. Running a gun and P250 will get one. There's actually a little bit of a funky gap here. Oh, and it works against Orphan. NC just tracks the tracers. And he will get his. And they also think they've got the site. Dopweek's backside. He gives away his position early. And he doesn't even get a kill. Dopweek, he's got to play time there. You've got to wait for the bomb plant to come down because they're not going to check him until probably too late. Now, numbers advantage for Brazil in the post plant.
Damn. It's getting kind of scary here. Very, very bouncy game at the moment. We'll see if Brazil can convert this. The swing from BKS and this back plat position can be very difficult. Oh, he creeps out a bit too far. They're just trying to wait for him. They've scared him off. And they bring it down to the 1 versus 1. Kratzen with only 2 HP. He's got the time. He just needs the headshot. And on the final bullet, I believe he finds that. Absolutely incredible stuff. Thank God he's got the kit. And Chile will avoid embarrassment. They will keep the dream of a clean finish alive.
Okay. I mean, just when it felt like maybe a chance for Brazil in this map, it gets ripped away from them right at the end. There is the credit of saying, hey, I mean, they come in with a force buy, but it's not a great force buy. But in the end now, not many chances left for Brazil. Off the back of the bomb plant, plus loss bonus. At least they have something to work with. Triple Galil, 1 AK-47 and a MAC-10. Oh, flying through the flames. SKL goes back into the Molotov. That'll cost him. His teammate phased the smoke. Goes 1 for 1. So the numbers kept for Chile.
All right. Kind of a curious start. NC charging up on the entry here, trying to make it happen. Kratzen confident as the flash comes in. Holds mouse 1, nearly the double, but he's got plenty of room to work with. This ramp angle, so difficult to deal with, of course. Javstar picks up his kill towards middle. We got damage coming in, but, you know, they need the kills. They need the rounds, and it's just not happening. Chile feeling good about it. It's all coming together quite nicely. I would say they've clearly been doing some work here on Dust 2, and it absolutely is paying off. The T side more so looked a bit more coordinated, but even just the simple setups, really, really nice on this CTN. So 8 in a row now going to be required by the Brazilians.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this honestly has been really solid all the way throughout. Ooh, BKS though. Nice shot. Catches Dotbeak on the cross. So, unfortunate start for him in this one. Despite having the considerably lesser weaponry. Bad way to go about it. Maybe just give them a chance. FP1 tries to go through that smoke. That won't work in his favor. Lexa. Oh, good answer for 2 as well. Just when it felt like a chance again from Brazil, gets ripped away.
Oof. Alexa might just be the kill that locks it in. The MAC-10 spotted and finished off 13-4 in favor of Chile. This is the big game, the jeopardy here for who else is going to qualify in. And Brazil, we figured, as a team with some experience, would be the ones to potentially take it over the line. We said there might be a challenge in there. The Dust 2 would be where it would go down. And Chile, they have absolutely handed Brazil the loss, I think is the nice way of putting it. So I, for one, am excited to see how this Anubis will pan out. But with the Dust 2 victory, Chile cementing themselves as a team that are not going to go quietly into the night here on the big day, the final day of this South American qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, just when it felt like sort of everything's on the line here, and Brazil had a prime opportunity off the back of, you know, forfeiting day one for whatever reasons that were. They came into us. Yes, they picked up a win and gave themselves a chance, and it felt like, you know, maybe a chance, right, to work with, but unfortunately not to be. So, I mean, you know, we've got to look at this now and say for Brazil, there's the one caveat that is not their map pick, and they're going in towards their map pick next, but it wasn't a good showing, right? They didn't look clean, didn't look comfortable. They didn't really have many individuals that we could fall back on and say, okay, at least this guy's having a good game, or, you know, there was these sort of brief moments. We spoke about at the tail end of that first half that the only rounds that Brazil really found are more mistakes from Chile, it felt. So if Chile had cleaned up a couple little errors in their act, they could have had a near flawless first half.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Really, really impressive stuff. And I think that, again, Brazil, it's looking kind of scary now, right? We don't know how much they're going to be able to put up on the Anubis, and even just against Chile, who, again, have been sort of ramping up, you know, a bit of a difficult game for them against Uruguay. They managed to take it for sure, but there were a couple moments in there where we were like, okay, this should be a super one-sided affair going into their map pick. Then they lost it, and then they nearly, you know, let things slip on Inferno. But we saw a bit of hope in there, didn't we, against Argentina, who were our clear favorites coming into this qualifier, and the Dust 2 came close. We were like, okay, maybe there is a bit of something here. And they've shown us that. They've shown us the culmination of that with a really, really clean map. There is, again, you know, all these caveats that we kind of have to apply with teams that we don't know loads and loads about. Are they going to be prepped up on the Anubis? Pretty hard map at the moment in terms of the team play, in terms of the higher level. Maybe Brazil are about to do the exact same thing to Chile with a prepared Anubis of their own, right? Is a world that we have to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was pretty solid. I think as well, a lot of the positives that we saw from Chile are, it wasn't these kind of wonder rounds where it was like, you know, one guy getting like 3 kills that was bailing them out. They just played a really good system. You mentioned it. I feel like they've actually done a lot of work on the map, at least between even like yesterday and today type vibe, right? And I think having that means that maybe coming into map number 2, they might have something up their sleeve. But because all of the maps in this veto, you know, all the way down to that Mirage at the side, they're all quite puggy. I think it could be potentially more of the same heading into map number 2, and that's a big thing I think you've got to work on. This is the scoreboard at the end of it, and yeah, you know, over towards Brazil, a couple of guys, NZ1 and SKS, I mean, BKS, may I say, 14 and 13 kills respectively, which is like okay, but I mean, as a team, they really did fall quite flat. FP1 struggled to get active, only 2 kills to his name, not good enough, where nearly everybody, bar Kratzen, who, you know, at one point Kratzen was really struggling to even get up to 9, wasn't actually too bad for him, because most of those kills were found right at the end, and you know, nearly everybody getting double digits over towards Chile, and just reaffirming sort of how good they were.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely a really great look from them. I think for Kratzen, it was when they moved on to that CT side. Maybe he couldn't get himself going on the T side of things, but yeah, the flip over definitely helped him. I don't know. It's a great game coming out from Chile, and I think that, as we have mentioned, they had a lot of practice, I think, going into it today, and we've looked at this team and said, okay, there's some cool individuals. If they can get this going, then maybe they'll be able to step their game up, and that's exactly what they've delivered on Dust 2. It is, again, down to that big question of whether they can keep it up moving forwards into Anubis. I think there's a severe lack of just get up and go from the Brazil team, right? They really looked like they were struggling, even in, you know, situations where there was a bit of an advantage, where it looked like they should be able to take an upper hand. They let a few of them slip away. So it's going to be difficult here. We do have some time in between. It's pretty quick moving, to say the least, right, in between these maps, to be fair. So how much time will they have? Is it going to be enough? It never feels like it is enough, but it's their map coming up next. We've got Anubis after this break, so we'll see you on the other side of this. Welcome back in, folks. Second map getting underway soon here. Of course, Anubis coming up. The qualification spot is on the line. Brazil with a really flat showing on Dust 2. So everything pointing towards Chile here. We'll see. We've not got any history on this map for them. Ultimately, Brazil played it yesterday. It wasn't the most one-sided finish, but they did manage to take it against Uruguay. Yep. And indeed, a bit of recency bias in terms of the map picks here for both these teams.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there's the one side of thing, whereas Brazil, it's maybe a little bit of comfort in the win yesterday. They've already taken a win in this tournament, so you got those little small positives. We haven't seen this out for Chile, so on the other side, we just don't know what to expect. But on the other side of the sword is a Chile side who, I mean, at least so far from what we've seen, look very, very comfortable. I mean, we've seen good Counter-Strike be playing towards Dust 2. And I think more than anything, we can talk about the setups and the dynamics and all the rest, but they just look a little bit more crisp. I think the individuals are at least awake and ready for this series, as maybe Brazil weren't. I mean, really wasn't a hell of a lot in that side in terms of kind of reoccurring moments of where we're like, okay, maybe Brazil can compete here. You know, you get a pistol, you lose a force buy, you then basically lose the game at the tail end. The first half, 9-3 at the halfway point, really difficult as well. And we've already seen how Chile do just look quite comfy when they're on that T side. And there's a world as well in which they could actually have picked in towards the T side of Anubis, which is, of all the maps, not the most uncommon thing in the world. This is the only map which is revered as T-sided in the pool. And if Chile kind of know their own game, which I'm sure they do, they probably would also realize that they do a lot of their best work on the T side. So if I was them, I'd be picking to start T side here all day.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. Get them rolling, get in the face, you know, and just lay down the foundations for where you want this map to go, right? And get in the heads. I think that's something that Brazil are going to struggle with here, is ultimately not giving us anything and giving themselves anything as well, I think, is the important side of it, where it's like, okay, sometimes you have a few nice rounds in there and you can work from that, but it's a little bit of a difficult story now for the Brazilian side. It's a complete fresh slate. It is a good place to do it, I suppose, right, when you roll onto your map. But again, are they going to have spent a lot of time into this one? Maybe not so much. I feel that, you know, the official map of Dust 2 yesterday against Argentina is a really big deal for Chile and what we've just seen there. So we'll see. We'll see. It was a bit of a challenge for sure. Maybe a lot to work on the Brazil side of things. But again, a map that they did take. So I think they have that in their back pocket, and sort of the confidence now for Brazil has to be on display.
Yeah, exactly. I think it goes without saying we're a little concerned. I just don't think we've seen enough really from Brazil that would change that narrative. I think coming into this, I really feel like we need to see something quite special come forward from this Brazil side, at least in the first maybe 4 to 5 rounds, just to really prop them up, whether that's a few clutches going their way, you know, a couple of dominant rounds, which are really going to wake them up and say, okay, we've got something in this. But I definitely think when you go in towards Dust 2 and you lose in that sort of fashion, when they never really got going at all, it can be, you know, a little bit of a kick up the arse and just say, okay, fellas, this is about not only, I guess, survival, but this is tournament qualification, the line here. It really is now or never. Backs up against the wall. What have Brazil got for us?
Well, indeed. It does seem as well. We got Chile on that T side. So they want to take the fights. They want to get aggressive. You know, they are doing what we're advising they do. Plenty of options available here. Bit of utility out. P250 SC for Alexa as well. Pretty conventional sort of T-side setup on this map. Meanwhile, Julie's around for Brazil. And a flash to work with as well. Aggressive A main move. Might look to press the issue there. Chile, figure with the simple utility, might look for a B take. But they are deciding to sort of switch things up a little bit here and just see what they can get away with at mid.
Slowly. Moving up towards camera here. Smoke going to come down for the cross. Now Chile jump across and start barreling in towards A. There's only one player towards A side, back pillar. They're seeing nobody here. Now will show his face, but BKS struggling. We'll get there in the end. Gets a second as well before he has to pull off a reload. But Dopweek can line up a couple. There's the third. Oh, hello. Dopweek's having another one of these rounds as he will help out for the fourth, but Alexa takes it in the end. Last man is known. Bomb will finally go down, and the Julies are hoping to make something of this. But maybe too tall an order.
We'll see. It's a pretty good sight for the Julies to get working, but yeah, they can just all swing in at the same time. Oh my, overkill from Alexa on that P250. A clean finish, however. And Chile picking up where they left off. Dangerous, dangerous signs here for the Brazilian squad. Will they force? Will they eco? But they're going to need to get themselves on the board quickly and not let Chile take control.
Yeah. Okay. Nice one to start things off. I would normally say I don't think we're going to force it. And yeah, that is going to be the case for Brazil. Just don't think there's any point. You didn't do enough in towards that first, which would make you really be able to kind of be able to tempt fate with that force. So in this instance, they're just not. Should be a pretty simple one. However, Chile did lose one like this. You can't completely count out Brazil, in all fairness.
No, it's true. It is true. The stack up on the A-bomb site as well. We've seen quite a few of these inventive stacks. But Chile taking their time. Not rushing into things. May well send the MAC-10 in to carve out some information. One player spotted. He's the distraction, you know, he's the bait, really, and they are not biting at the moment. Chile playing pretty safe at this point, trying to see what they can get away with once again. Pretty deep into CT. I believe they will begin to discover that that B-bomb site is clear.
Ooh. Well, the bomb, I think, getting that information relayed over as it's going for the long, safe rotate, but getting there nonetheless. I mean, went for the Astrala stack. Nothing worked out as they're not baited into the fights. That they've learned their lesson of Dust 2B site from last map. And, well, bomb has been planted. This one's a non-starter. Any kills at the end here would be nice for Brazil. Maybe get yourself an upgrade for free, but we're not expecting anything to really change.
Oh, Alex are on the other side. Got to be careful around this corner. Definitely an unexpected kind of angle, but could get overwhelmed. Certainly if he walks into them, that would be the dangerous move. But to be taking the onus is the way to do it. He's mowing them down for sure. He's got a bit of support now as well. He will drop the AK recovered. And Kratzen was like, God damn it. You know, I want that AK, but unfortunately, you snooze, you lose. Only the Galil for him on the step up. Either way, a big save comes round from the Chile side of things. There's no stress.
Just making sure that at least for Alexa on an individual basis, he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to get some egos here. I'm going to get the stats up. Bit of cash in the back pocket too. And all of the rest. 2-0 start. Brazil. First full buyout for them. Really does have to come to light here. I think if Brazil don't get this gun round, I'm going to be very worried. NC goes aggro towards water, gets caught by Alexa. It's not good.
4-on-4. Scale with an advanced position. Just got to be careful. He knows it. Dropping back well here. Very, very good stuff. You know, not rushing it, not getting greedy for a fight. Brazil, I think, may well have had a bit of a conversation around, you know, any kind of advantage, any kind of good moment we have to capitalize on. And he moves back to the pillar here. Molotov surely got to come in to deal with him. It does indeed. He's a little late on the swing and nearly taking one down with him. Maybe a setup BKS. Not quite, though. So it is still a good position, but it's a tentative position for Chile if you look across those HP bars. Well, I'm going to go down. No kit available. I think there might have been one dropped in on the site, but still not ideal for the rotators here. Donkey close to it. Trying to be the hero, and it looks like he might just here. FP1 catches him off. Ooh, a little close, but Alex plays it well, gets that trade.
Okay, 3-0 start. Brazil, first gun round, doesn't go well, and not even well enough as well where anything gets saved. Worrying, maybe slightly alarming to tough spot that we're currently in, and I think for Chile, you've got 3 out the gate. You're probably expecting the money's going to be a little bit torn over towards Brazil, so maybe a 4-0 start already. This is once again reaffirming that idea that we saw in towards Dust 2 of just how good Chile are on towards their T side. They are inching ever closer, bit by bit, to a spot. World Esports Championship, simple as that. Brazil, safe to say that times are getting a little tough for them. Alexa, trying to get the opener, and he's going to get caught, losing for a second and gets gifted it.
Deagle comes in, so Sanka's maybe kept the numbers workable here. SKL, ooh, digging around. Kratzen slightly panicked by it. Looked like, you know, he would have that angle every day of the week, but nearly drops. Sets up FP1. Unfortunately, just a bit too steep of a hill to climb here, right? The odd kill is not quite going to cut it, obviously. And the bomb is now making its way over towards A, where it is indeed clear. So FP1, maybe an opportunity for him to find some money or take one of these guns that's been dropped, in all fairness. Potentially both if the world were to work with him, but the round itself not going to happen.
FP1. An exit with MP9 would be nice, not only in just probably the upgrade, but a little bit of kill bonus too for the SMG. He was in the right place for it, and then unfortunately walks away. Don't know if he's going to catch anything. Actually, I tell a lie, he probably should here. It's Alexa on the other side. Oh, they're walking around each other. A little bit of a 4x3 moment for Alexa, so FP1 will get his kill. Might potentially still get hunted, though, on that tail end. He's just starting to look for it. P1 trying to stay alive, and he actually will get another kill. That ain't bad. He stays alive just about at the end there. So an AK kept in play. A small silver lining. We'll take that every day of the week. But it's still a 4-0 start for Chile, and they're still looking pretty good. That's, I think, the main thing. I mean, we're looking at this now. Very, very solid. Brazil back in towards an investment, but same situation as we saw earlier. Don't find this get even more damning than the earlier gun round lost.
Sank taking some early damage, a little bit rough. But again, able to survive. He keeps this aggressive stance in towards dark as well. Just got to be careful not to get spammed down. Chile then a bit unaware, but they do have themselves a nice position. Mid push attempted, but nothing comes off the back of it. Big round here, right? We're later on into this first half. So there is potential for this to really turn things for Chile. Brazil, therefore, need it. Chile know this, right? And you can feel that kind of tension in the round already.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go a bit eerily quiet. Still. He's fine from SKL. Javstar will get caught. At the very least, there's an opener there. Numbers advantage. Then gets immediately ripped back in to a level playing field. But with SKL tagged, Makes this difficult. 2 on towards this B side, going to try and hold down the fort. As Chile make a move, Molotov comes back flat. That'll force a fight. However, 2 for 1 on the first engage isn't bad. Nade will bank off the pillar. Will do more damage, but it won't be enough to deny this bomb going down.
Yeah, for the time being, looking workable for Chile. Oh, the creep around could be good here. And Kratzen not prepared for it at all. It's going to be Dop week. They know where he's at now. He's made a fair bit of noise. Trying to get the utility in to just force a fight out. They'll flash him off, though. Beautifully done. Back-to-back flashes means he has absolutely no chance. Defuse coming in. And Brazil on the board. As we said, important for them to get it. They do so pretty cleanly as well. 3 surviving. So this could be the start of the mini comeback and maybe taking over the game.
True. I think for Brazil, it absolutely had to happen, right? We needed to see something come to fruition sooner rather than later. They weren't really get out the gates getting too many chances, I guess. It felt in making these rounds work. That's going to give them a little bit of something to fall back on, especially because of the knock-on effect over towards Chile. Despite the 4-0 start and despite the bomb going down in all those rounds, they still are taking a big hit where they don't have a buy here for them. A couple of upgraded pistols, but that is about it. So this one should be Brazil getting a second too. Let's make sure though, however, they don't let this one slip away. Thankfully, Sank will start well. Orphan gets caught.
Yeah, big find actually. Again, as you say, important one. They've got to get them working here, and that is a good way to find it. So have to capitalize now. Long-range fight certainly can be a bit dangerous. Shots missing, but eventually sank. He only needed that 1 bullet to land right. Cleanly done. And looking very, very good. Moving into the final minute of the round. One would assume that they should be able to clean up from here. Spam is good. Spotting out another player as well. There's just nothing happening for Chile on this one.
Okay. And see, we'll make sure that nothing does happen at all. I mean, barely even damage dealt towards Brazil on that one. I mean, that's the first round in a long time where we've seen a real confident one taken with ease. Not made to work for Brazil. The last kind of super confident round I remember off the top of my head is just that Brazil one that they took when they ecoed Chile back on that Dust 2B side. They only had 1 casualty then. That one has no casualties here. Chile going to buy right back in. Alexi going to get us AWP. There's a glitter in play for Kratzen, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Getting aggro here. So in all fairness, this is a bold call. I like it, but if you overextend, it's a possibility of getting caught. SKL, nice angle, will get his.
Yeah, that's big for Brazil here. Again, looking at another key round. Oh, timing good for Kratzen, but they're still continuing to lose numbers, unfortunately. So it might not be as valuable. Presence has been shown outside of the name. And Dop weak. He loves a play around the smoke. Making it work, but Sank going to give him a taste of his own medicine here in just a second. Bomb going down, or is it? Oh, it just gets over, but Sank has found them all. So they'll concede the bomb plant, lose a couple of players, but Brazil keep them going 3 in a row now, and that includes 2 gun rounds, you know? So really, really legit sort of moment here for Brazil if they can keep it going.
Yeah, really nice sort of round as well. I think, you know, even this play is individually brilliant, but Sank's kind of, we've seen the aggression come through in that round really well pulled off by Brazil, you know, pushing out in towards a main, but obviously very, very solid, getting that opener from off the back of SKL, and they've really put the brakes on Chile. A 4-0 start for them, and most likely it's going to be tied up 4 apiece in just a second. Chile don't have the buy to work with, so they are left with a tough spot, it's safe to say, where once things were flourishing for them and now not so much.
Molotov forces Alexa into the fight, but he does actually win it. So back into an even situation. Be a gun to recover as well over there. But they will drop back. Just kind of giving the position up. Oh, Orphan nearly had the drop. Just could not quite get the timing. That would have been a really big deal. Unfortunately, does not happen. So, B-bomb site seems to be where Chile want to end up here. They've got a one smoke to work with. Touchdown nade is a really clean find. Smoke comes in. Kill not quite there, but certainly set up. Bit of team damage makes life awkward. All the same, Brazil will stomach it. 1 HP for FP1. He's lucky to be alive, but they have now evened things up.
Absolutely. Brazil, good work from them. This is, you know, basically the first real period at all that we've seen throughout this game where Brazil have actually put up consecutive rounds on the board and are looking comfortable in terms of their counter-strike. And that never happened on Dust 2 at all. It's taken in towards their own pick of Anubis to start to find this comfort, and now they are starting to rock and roll with the punches a little bit. Chile back into an investment, lose this round. We're talking about them losing the lead and having Brazil be in for the chance of guaranteeing a real stable first half, especially considering it's CT side. However, the AWP of Alexa will rattle off for the first.
Quiet here in the mid-game. Oh, the catch here could have happened, but Sank is savvy. Really, really keen find, and that's only one of the players revealed. The other keeps going, and he finds an unawares Dop weak. So here we are. It's swung in favor of Brazil with the B main play.
All right. Kratzen clears backside, which is all well and good, but Sank's on a bit of a lurking play, but then there's a good chance that he might get caught himself, and NC will pop up. Big kill. Bomb spotted. That's all Sank has to do. Molotov comes down. Brilliantly timed as well. I mean, Javstar can move around this, yes, but up to him and Kratzen to try and bail them out. There's the first. Looking for the second. I think he knows there was another player somewhere near, but a move comes through. FP1 delivers. Last man spotted in towards main. 25 seconds and a 1v3. I don't think this is getting off the board here.
We'll see. Sank's got this difficult angle to beat as well. The peak just came in there, so he might not think there's anyone around the pillar. Really well played by Sank. And Brazil's starting to pick up steam here, looking very, very good. It seems the Anubis, as we expected, a bit more comfortable, but also just a slight switch up in the energy. The discipline looking a lot better once they're in these leading moments. And at the same time, also a bit of calculated aggression, which I don't think we saw too much of on Dust 2.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Lead taken for the first time properly for Brazil this entire series. And there's a lot more to like. I think Chile have really looked pretty uncomfortable for what is the last portion, right? I mean, they're 4-0 up and now find themselves 5-4 down. So this period of Counter-Strike has not been good out for Chile. And while we've had time to have a conversation here, again, I wouldn't even mind burning the timeouts in this first half in entirety. You get 3 timeouts in total. I wouldn't mind using the majority of them generally in this first half because that T-side is of the utmost importance, being this map and also Chile's strengths as well.
All right, let's see. Chile have got themselves a little half bite to work with. Burst out, coming in, changing pace from the T side, trying to get this catch. They will, yeah, put so much attention into him, and he's done a brilliant job there, SKL. Doesn't get a kill, but just draws those players in. Drops the bomb as well. So a bit of an upper hand here for the CT side, but got to be careful. These Tech-9s looking to overwhelm. Hudson left low, flank coming in on good time. Bomb still not down, and Sank will finish it off. Brazil starting to feel themselves here as they move up to 6. That felt like a stressful round, but they get it cleanly.
Yeah, and that's all that matters as well. Making sure that those rounds aren't expensive. There isn't really anything for Chile to kind of walk away from in any sort of positive note. So lots of like, Brazil going to guarantee the bare minimum of a tied game, but let's be honest, the way they're playing right now, I'd be very surprised if it was to end 6-all. There is a chance here, in all fairness though, for Chile. Buy back in towards this one. 2 rounds, tail end of the half, who knows. But regardless, I would still say that this has been a good half out for Brazil in the grand scheme. Up to 6 in quite a good fashion. 6 from 6. is pretty solid for the CT side, who are looking really comfortable at the moment.
NC tagged down a bit low here, so they do have to be careful. The dark pressure here for Chile actually looks pretty good. They've managed to slip a player in. Sank, however, too savvy. He's been playing fantastically, man, on this comeback from Brazil, takeover from Brazil. 15-5 and keeps it going.
All right. Towards mid. I mean, they've got given this control for free, and they're not actually even smoking it towards CT. They're opting to fight. I don't like that idea normally, because there's too many angles to clear, and they don't even drop any util is the issue. They're fighting dry in through mid. That is not the way you're going to play that. If you want to start pushing to wrap in towards dark, you've got to go off the back of util. Smoke one side, isolate the fight. They don't. Leave Javstar alone in a 1v5, and yes, he gets the first, but he's not going to be doing anything more with this. Making a move. Gonna get caught. Brazil gonna put up a 7th. NC does drop down in towards the bomb, which is hilarious. But in the end, it's another great round out for Brazil, where Chile can't really even seem to do basically anything to make it a competitive one in this sense. I mean, Chile are really falling apart here on Anubis. Not looking like a great map for them.
A little bit of martyrdom there, if anyone remembers that perk from COD 4. You know, that's unfortunate at the end of the round. But Brazil still, yeah, looking very, very good, as you say. Oh. A brave peek from Alexa, but he nearly does find it, in all fairness to him. Has to be considered in that previous round as well. Chile managed to start things off quite nicely, just, again, could not capitalize. So there's a few issues with the Chile Anubis. This is kind of what we were talking about, though, where it's like, okay, are Brazil about to do exactly the same thing to Chile as just happened to them on Dust 2? And it looks like that might unfortunately be the case. We'll see as things change over, but not a keen start into this here round number 12. Advantage looks pretty hefty, if you ask me, for the CTs.
Yeah. This is pretty good. I mean, the other side of things is a lot of damage has been dealt. And that in itself could be a difference maker. But one of the low HP players, 35 points of HP and a double kill coming through with BKS. And, oh, it goes from bad to worse. One man left all alone. Orphan shadow spotted too, so they know he's tucking towards the cubby. Needs a little bit more. Sees it off. 8-4. Nice and easy for Brazil. Not a lot that you can complain about at all. 8 rounds in a row for the CT side at the end there is simply put brilliant work. And I think for Chile, they just completely fallen apart. They needed a lot more rounds on that C side, but also they just needed some sort of consistency. And they're now heading towards the CT side on the most T-sided map in the pool with no momentum in their sales. I think they're probably feeling in quite a rough spot at the moment.
Yeah, no, it is true. It is true. I mean, we'll see. We'll see, right? We're talking about this flip-up that's come in, and I think it is a curious case. The T side, although it is the preferred side on this map, it can always be that sort of age-old thing that we talk about getting it going. You know, if you don't have the protocols, we didn't really see that many clean executes and things. Brazil, meanwhile, they've got a pretty good idea of what they want to do here. Smoke comes down. Julie's on the other side of it. It's only one, but a heavy tag comes around. There's support here from the CT side. Alex are good for one. Not quite enough to be winning the round out just yet. Kratzen in at heaven, of course, smoked off. So that's not a good look for him. Oh, but they're moving up. Maybe even two of them. They know what's up. They know what's up. They know how to work around those smokes, man. It's looking good here, isn't it? Headshot doesn't land immediately for Orphan, so going to be a tough 1v3 now. Give him the respect. Should be able to win it out from here. No guarantee that he doesn't have a kit, but it's often something these days that you can lean on in a pistol. Drawing him towards you. Try and get those Glocks working. And again, just playing the time. Everybody backing away from the fight if they survive them, which they all have. And therefore, Brazil take the pistol and now severely start to threaten map number 3.
Yeah, I think at this rate... Tried the knife. I think at this rate, I'd be very surprised if we don't go towards that Mirage, that map 3, because... this has been a really, really good showing from Brazil. Not pulling any punches. They're looking very clean in terms of the sort of counter-strike that we've seen out from them. And I think for Chile, there's just been basically little to nothing on offer. They're that small little burst right at the start. The 4 rounds out the gate, which was 1 gun round, 2 ecos and a pistol. But tough spot to win right now. And a 9-4 scoreline. We are seeing, you know, a somewhat buy coming through, but again, I just don't really expect fireworks out here. Chile have really struggled.
Oh my god. All right. The scout makes itself known. We might be on a little bit in this round. M4 still in play as well. Dopweek got to be careful not to get caught in transition. Oh my goodness. Back to back currently, but of course, BKS going to check his angles. He's just missed him slipping in. But he knows. Oh, that he could make this round theirs. First one finished, spotted. Not even going to go in for the second. Smoke goes down 2 versus 2. Big deal now. Kratzen trying to get the timing of his own. He actually does manage to win the fight out. Oh my goodness. Sank then has to come off the bomb. That buys time for the rotation, but a 2v1 required here.
This is tough for Sank. That scout won the shot. Made a possibility there. The first. Oh, and he comes back for the second. Oh my. Double with the scout was good. That double transfer also pretty good too. And Sank is making his name known. A force buy for Chile, which just doesn't find the success that they needed. And it will want further just extend this lead out for Brazil. Oh my. That is pretty special at the end there. It didn't feel like a chance, but Sank does a really good job of getting proactive in that 1v2 and making sure he has this round on the lock and key. So yeah, taken for them at a 6-round buffer now. I really don't know if there's that much left in the lockers. I mean, we've had attack pause and we've had a moment to converse coming through for Chile, but I mean, it's been a systematic fall apart, hasn't it, for this side, and we really just need everything to inherently change over towards Chile. There's been quite literally nothing on offer for the last 10 rounds. It's been tough, and they can't rely off the back of people getting double collats and all the rest. I mean, it's just...
Well, evidently not, mate,
yeah,
to be fair.
True.
Mental. It is mental with how one-sided it's become, but again, sort of the Counter-Strike that I think we were wanting, and there are stakes on the line, massive stakes on the line, actually. So we have to kind of be thankful in a way that Brazil are going to give us this third map.
Okay. Oh, Mac 10 barreling in. Kratzen caught. These pistols aren't looking like they're doing all too much. The USPS will at least get one, but I don't think this is going to make too much of a difference to this round.
No, you wouldn't think so. Oh, Scout Bullet is close there, but not close enough. NC holding. Looking good. Down to just Alex. Well, he was trying to get that deagle. Not going to happen for him. Brazil looking for a flawless kind of 13-0 of sorts. Ultimately, I think they may well have locked this one in. As you can see, Mirage going to be that decider. A very puggy map, a very sort of level kind of map here as well for these two teams. I believe, indeed, both of them have played it. The Mirage yesterday, not the best from Brazil, unfortunately lost it out in the overtime. And Chile played it yesterday against Argentina. Also not the best from them. Very, very one-sided affair. So, we'll see. Not quite sure what to expect out of it. Jav start to try and keep the game alive here. Keen find on the first. Does not have that same gap to work with this time around, though. Loses his life. Kratzen's here in and around the site. However, and completely slipping the net. Gives them the advantage, and it looks pretty good. They're actually going to call off the A hit.
Opening shot for the first was pretty clean, but I couldn't get the second. The only issue is they did over-rotate. Right? I mean, Chile went all guns blazing over towards A. Then FB open. Bomb goes down. Post plant set up. NC is heavily tagged, however. Orphan waiting for that smoke to fade. We're double stacking. Are we going to sit inside this? This is brazen, to say the least. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. It doesn't for the first, that's for sure.
Oh, the AWP. No scope lands. No, not quite. FP1 round the smoke coming in to win it out. And man, Chile cannot buy a round. Unbelievable stuff. Brazil keep it going. 12 in a row now. And it, again, just is a game that's delivering and making us kind of question everything here.
Yeah, exactly. And, oh, tough. Really tough to see. I mean, that round in particular, it's a 1v3 you've just lost. I mean, they just don't play for each other, especially if you're going for a defuse in that time. They had about, I think, if I had to guess off the top of my head, about 16, 17 seconds. It didn't have a kit, but you still don't need to get onto towards the bomb that early. You should be confirming the kill first, or at least having two people fighting simultaneously. But he isolates each and every one. 1v1, 1v1, 1v1. I think having that, it really does show the lack of discipline at times over towards Chile. That was tough. Tough to see. Brazil, one round away from pushing us towards that decider of Mirage.
Well, survival, the name of the game here, and maybe that will give them the extra adrenaline they need. Alexa finds the first cleanly. Surely from here you feel they should be able to keep themselves alive, but a needless overstep from the top fragger of the Chilean side. Really big deal that he goes down like that. In towards dark. They're creeping in, and again, Chile look a little lackadaisical here. MP9 goes peeking in, loses his life. A clean reset here for Brazil. It's down to Orphan on the site for the time being. It's only a couple of them spotted, right? Where's the rest? And it is all falling apart. Kratzen known about now. 1 versus 3. Left low and finished off. 13 rounds in a row from Brazil will take us to that third and final map here. The yin and yang of both teams shown in the first couple. Mirage set to be an absolute banger.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, tough, I think, is kind of the main way I look at this. It's just really, really rough out from Chile. They offered nothing for basically what was the entirety of that. You know, 13 rounds in a row never should be happening. At least on Dust 2, Brazil had a couple of moments here and there. It wasn't just this hot streak coming forward, but yikes. I mean, that was a really dicey showing. It was really rough. And I think as well for Chile, that's one of those sort of maps which actually can spill over in towards the next. We're going towards a third map decider to decide who is going for that World Esports Championship spot. It is going to be Mirage. And with, yeah, I hate to say it, but with how badly Chile played all the way throughout that, bar this short little 4-round stint at the start where they were against you know, 1 gun round, 2 ecos, 1 pistol. So there's not a hell of a lot you can take away from that. With how badly Chile played, it is pretty concerning. Maybe, you know, the narrative changes from this being Brazil not playing well and all the rest, but just specifically Dust 2 not being a good map for them, but actually they just took a little bit of time to get awake. And now that they are in the driver's seat, quite comfortably, in fact.
Momentum has swung in their favor for sure. It's a really difficult one, you know, when you have like the lesser information on teams and the maps swing 1 for 1 like this. It does just come down to, yeah, a factor of like the same sort of argument could be applied to Chile. It's like, do they play a lot of Anubis? It's a bit of a hard one to get going from a team play perspective. You have a few like older players on this team is about maybe the only kind of information we've got around Chile. So maybe, yeah, the new Anubis, they kind of avoid it a little bit, or at the very least have not played it as a stat as much. It's difficult to say. It really is. Mirage, though, feels, therefore, like a pretty good final map. They've both played it in the qualifier. They've both managed to have, at the very least, close games on it. Brazil without a victory for sure, but, you know, have got a lot of rounds out of it. So you would feel should be good at it. So, therefore, I think that the Mirage comes in as a really nice map with, like, no excuses for either team now.
Sure, exactly. I mean, this is where you got to come in towards this no holds barred and all the rest. But we take a look at the scoreboards. Pretty good from Brazil, isn't it? I mean, not a lot of complaints. Credit to Alexa at the very least. I mean, looked good in his individual sort of display. 17 kills, quite positive. I mean, you can't really complain there, but over the other side. I mean, Sank had a real nice showing for him with 19-7 and then 17 NZ1, who actually did a bit of a slow game. And on the other side, FP1 only had 2 kills under map 1 and comes towards map 2 with 16-8. That ain't too bad.
No, that's true. That is very, very true, for sure. Again, a keen step up for the Brazilian side of things, and you know, it just keeps adding to these sort of stories that we're building in these qualifiers, where we're seeing these like mental drop-offs, mental change-ups, and some of the teams really struggling for that all-important consistency. And it does just go to show how difficult, I suppose is the word that I'm looking for, it is for these higher-level teams to return so quickly when you've got great Counter-Strike capable from both teams. It's all about whether they can get a bit of a reset, get that timeout in there, you know, is one of the big things that we have a big lack of, is the reset game. It's just not been there from many of the teams at the moment, but we do have that reset coming in the form of an extended mandatory break, of course. A few minutes before we get into things, Mirage, coming up next, you don't want to miss this one, is for that qualification to the World Esports Championships in Riyadh. So, stick around. We'll be back soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. Third and final map getting underway here. There was a time where we weren't necessarily expecting to be here. Still hope for Brazil, but then they lay down 13 in a row, which is absolutely crazy. The Anubis has brought it back pretty heavily here into contention. Chile looked good on Dust too, 13-4 from them. And then a 13-4 from Brazil. Now we end up on Mirage, and it is all to play for. The winner of this qualifies. If you are just joining us, you maybe haven't missed the most banger maps in the world, but it has definitely set this one up to be a complete barn burner between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of just saying as well in the break there, when you've lost like 9-10 rounds in a row, like change it up a little bit, Chile. You know what I mean? It was just, you know, at this point, they'd lost like 9-10 rounds in a row, and we're still playing the same defaults out and expecting something to change. We never saw them get, you know, overly proactive, where they like, you know, are really trying to put the pressure on towards Brazil or change up the tempo of some of these rounds. We're seeing these like real quick hits come through. I mean, even tail end of the T side as well, same thing every single time. Defaults poking towards B, defaults looking towards A main as well, and just losing the fights. I mean, you know, we all know that age-old kind of quote by Einstein, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something to change. That's kind of what it felt like there. We just sort of Chile was like, right, it's failed the last 7 times, but I reckon give it a go here again, and we might get something out of this. And it's just like, at that point, you just got to gamble on something. When you're on the CT side, just full gamble a site, for example. What have you actually got to lose? You know, you needed any round to maybe shift the momentum a little bit, to maybe put the brakes on towards the Brazilian side, and instead they just play very similar rounds each and every time, and Brazil just keeps saying, well, it's worked the last 7, let's just keep doing what we're doing, play as a pack, know that they're not really gambling sides at all, so we can actually, wherever we end up going, as long as we stick together, we can basically just trade our way into this. There was like a couple of moments which were in clutches coming through. That one post bunt and the 1v2 was very nice, for example, which was maybe the best opportunity we saw off of Chile. But bar that, I mean, I really don't think Brazil were tested. I mean, I think it's probably the best way to go about it. They really made that look quite easy, and I don't think it's really, I mean, obviously it's very good from Brazil, but I think even they would admit that Chile didn't do anything to put them under a lot of pressure. So it's tough, and I think these are the things where, from my understanding, Chile don't have a coach, hence why they don't call a hell of a lot of timeouts. That's where you have the advantage of having a coach, just to be like, right, something needs to change here. I'm calling a pause, I'm having a conversation. We had like 2 pauses out for Chile, but at this point they were like so late as well, is when they'd lost like 4 rounds on the T side. So at this point it was 4 all. Called a pause, nothing changed. And then they called one like right towards the tail end of the T side. At that point, you'd already completely lost control of this game, and then heading in towards the second half, all the momentum completely gone from their grasp. So tough to see. For Chile, this is the issue that we had with them when we see them actually throughout their earlier games as well, is that they have these periods of being really good, whether it's a map, whether it's a half or whatever, but then they, honestly, like a light switch, can just completely fall off the face of the earth, and it's tough to call what sort of Chile you're going to get. I mean, we're headed towards Mirage now, and we have no idea. The expectation is that Brazil should be able to come into this with a lot of confidence. They played great Counter-Strike. They looked very good on both the CT and the T side as well, so there wasn't really massive weaknesses there. And the narrative around this series has massively changed. We kind of came into map number 2 thinking, hey, maybe Brazil just aren't up to scratch with Chile, and maybe this is a side who they forfeited their game against Argentina. Uruguay maybe a little bit weaker team, so they beat them, and Chile is actually their match. But now it's changed, where it's actually maybe Dust 2 is just not a great map for them, but the rest of the pool feels a little bit better. Mirage is the map that they will know how to play. Same for Chile, of course, but yeah, tough to see. Really tough to see. Just didn't look comfortable at all the way through, and it's left us wanting a little bit more out from Chile is an understatement, but expecting this to be a real weird map number 3, but it's for all the marbles as well. You kind of broke it down just before we headed in towards that break, where this is now a best of 1 to decide who is going to the World Esports Championship. It's as simple as that. There's 2 spots on the line. Argentina have already guaranteed theirs, going flawless throughout the groups. This is now for all the marbles. It's basically one best of 1 to decide who is heading towards Riyadh in November.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think a wild kind of ride here onto Mirage. It is sort of set up, but we'll see. It's a difficult map to predict. They have both played it a fair amount, right? Sure. Uruguay, maybe the map that was, decent for them, as they were able to pick up victories against both Brazil and Chile. Pretty close against Brazil, goes to the overtime. We didn't cast that game, so not really sure how that came about, right? Whether it was, a mad comeback or maybe just a capitulation in the overtime from Brazil. Either way, I think that things look a little difficult to work around for the side of Chile, right? Just because of, again, where that momentum is. And, you talk about the lack of a coach, the lack of timeouts. I think that's going to come into play during this kind of break that we've had in between as well, where it's like you don't necessarily have a leading voice, to reset you and get you into the right mindset. That is something on the other side of things that I think Brazil will have had in between map 1 and map 2 is, some control here and some, okay, let's get the reset. Let's work this one out. It's our map. We've got to be confident now we can still win it in the 2-1 fashion. We've had a bit of Mirage. We had a deep game on Mirage even, so we should know what we're doing here. And I think for sure, you look at a player like FP1 with so much experience being in these types of situations before, and I think it has paid off already on one map. Can they keep that going into the next? Knife round might be a little bit valuable here as well to just get a confident start and immediately hit the ground running. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Chile, I seem to remember it was, way back when. I've had a few sleeps since then, and we've had a lot of games. I think the game against against Uruguay on Mirage for them started off really well, right? And then they flipped over halves and had one of those sort of disappearances that we've seen a couple times from teams in this qualifier. So they have to have hopefully improved upon that. It's going to be tough here, though, man. It is going to be very, very tough because Brazil just have so much evidence now, I think, to prove and to say we can do this. We can take this over the line. It looks like they start off on the CT end of things. So I'm feeling pretty confident for Brazil. The Chile Dust 2 seems to be, again, an area that they're effective on. But Mirage is yet to prove itself.
It's true. It is true. Well, let's see. What have we got? I mean, Chile going to start on that C side. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. They did obviously get that 4-0 to kickstart things on Anubis, which was good. It just completely fell apart off the back of it. If we maybe get a little bit of something to start things off, it could be nice. The first isn't good. And Sank will deliver. And he actually could have had the chance of the second, but he decides to dip into his top mid instead.
Okay, Brazil starting off well here. As they do have some players worse for wear, but it still feels pretty good. The B-bomb site, mega vulnerable. As soon as there is presence, they're, begging for these rotations to come in. They will do so, and it seems to be the smart move. Glocks, though, can close this gap quick and see the first one to fall. Now only 3 remaining. Sank, keen headshot from him. Spots out another as well. Dishes out the damage, not quite the frag. I'm going to make it down, but will it make it in towards the site is the big question. Sank is trying to keep them at bay here and doing a decent job of such. BKS reveals himself after waiting patiently for that bomb to be attempted. 20 seconds remain. 24 HP for Waits in. Not looking good. He'll creep round to try and eliminate another, but he's got to get this bomb down, and they're just not going to give him the peaks, not going to give him the fights, at least openly. He's picked up the bomb, does have time to work with, faking things out, trying to draw them in, and he has done so, but again, just play around the time. FP1 far too smart, knows what's up, and they will take him. That was nearly after time, but not quite.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on that, but he does, I think, at the very least, go down with about half a second on the clock, and Brazil continue their winning ways. That's, well, we now count what we saw in towards Anubius, in towards Mirage. It's 14 rounds in a row out for them, and we wonder how long this hot streak will continue going forward for. Really, really good stuff, though, is what we want to see. Great Counter-Strike being played. Not too many issues at all, and yeah, difficult spot that we're in. Chile, low buy. Not expecting a hell of a lot out of them in this one.
Smoke in nice and deep here. Alex, he's got the angle, you know. A little bit late, but he does actually dish out a fair amount of damage through the smoke with a Glock, you know. Don't really expect much out from that, but is it going to result in anything? Probably not. They're holding cleanly in at middle. So just Alexa, who they know was in the apartments, likely to be downstairs. That is the case. Ooh, another dink landed, but not able to capitalize. So clean round coming out. Brazil just going through the motions. Early rifle buy for Chile.
Yes, exactly. I think, you know, that's probably the better call for me at the very least, is just that decision in the sense of, right, let's just give this one away, go in towards the guns as soon as we can, which is what they'll be doing. AK is coming through across the board and actually getting a decent amount of util out alongside it as well, which is solid. Alexa still seems, at least on a individual basis, looking pretty good, but 157 ADR for him with just that one kill, but a lot of damage being dealt. And a good map number 1 and 2. He's been the real only consistent factor for Chile thus far.
Aids in, decent start for Chile if they can capitalize on it. BKS, yeah, he's a bit scared of middle. Kind of giving the position up ultimately. So what do we do from here is the big question. Waits in down below, looking to get that first frag. Not going to happen. Meets the business end of Sank, who continues being a menace. Starting this game off strong with a 5-0. Not expecting another deep player. Really well done from Brazil. Very confident move, you know, to send 2 into the deep apartments. And, well, it pays off. I don't know if they spotted the bomb. Might just have done now. Have to be a bit careful with how they adjust here, though, because the A-bomb site has resulted in a couple of kills, in fact. Really well found. This is maybe what happens, you know. You get deep in B-apps, you start to take your eye off the ball slightly.
True. So there's a 3 versus 3, however. So I'm not going to completely count them out just yet. Ollie, flash behind it. Catch. Alexa. Continue to try and move in as well. The flash is actually a beaut from Dopweek as NC gets caught.
Looking good for Chile all of a sudden. And they're panicked. They're unsure. They may well have been able to stop this bomb going down, but there's nobody around to do so. I think with the plant coming in, you potentially just have to give it. Sank is here quite quick, but he's very, very low. They'll both group up. Ollie in towards the site. Not getting pushed into a good spot. Nade comes in. It's minimal damage. Smoke down. Kratzen fancies a little bit of a fight here, but unfortunately a bit too easy for him, I suppose. Sank will have to drop back, and that's Chile taking it. Didn't look good initially, did it? But the deep apps control, I suppose, can be a blessing and a curse. True.
Finally, though, success out for Chile. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that, and that is a good round in that 3 versus 3. Done well. Make it work for them, and of course, at least for now. We've got a spot to potentially sparrow with going forward. There will be a little bit of a buyback in. Yeah, there is at least enough money to just about squeeze it out. I think somebody, maybe SKL, Might have to take a bit of a hit. I mean, he has half armor, but I don't know if you want to do half armor and just an M4A1S, even though he has the money to go for it. Maybe prioritizing utility the way to go. He is going to opt for just the rifle. A lot of situations seems to opt for the FAMAS here to have that util to give yourself preferential fights and the rest. But yeah, not to be. Decision that we've got here. Dopweek, nice find through the smoke. He all gets caught.
Oh, more kills coming in. It's a mess out here. The Molotov may well give them a way back in on the Brazilian side of things. The bomb deep in the apartments, ready to go out, but he's not going to jump the gun too early. Smoke goes down. That'll try and keep them at bay on the rotation side of things, but Sank is still here. Keen headshot. Oh, could make the difference. That's the bomb spilled as well. Waits in. Goes a bit too far in, and it costs him that bomb. Meanwhile, we've got BKS on the flank here now. They really are not expecting him. It's pretty quick.
Okay. This is a weird 2v2. Chile feel a little bit undecided. Do you want to commit towards B? I mean, that would actually most likely sort of work against them, but going back towards A is also precarious too. Where is the A player? Could be on towards site, could be in jungle, of course, as we know with hindsight that he is. 30 seconds to make this decision. They are going towards CT. I think that's got to have been heard, and you can actually see by the movement now for Brazil that they would have heard that. They aren't going to be able to deny this bomb going down, that's for sure.
We'll see what they can find from here then. Oh, crossing towards CT. I think they'll look for one of them over there. Might have confirmed both, though. They seem pretty sure on the fact that there's two in at CT. Just going to try and go in for the defuse, I would imagine. However, they're getting a bit close. That Kit player wants to fight, and that's an oversight. BKS goes down. Stank taken as well. Dopweek on the fade away, but it felt like with the Kit, you go in for the defuse, and you just try and get the ninja. Not going to happen, though. So, Brazil letting it slip.
Yes, exactly. All right. Now, it's a tied game. Chile, the first time in a while, looking alive and a little bit more of a consistent factor. Playing good Counter-Strike, at least in these couple of rounds. That 2v2 is actually expertly played too. They know that going over towards B feels really risky, so they double back towards A. They wait, go quietly, and just when they know they're out of range, a quick push, wrap in via CT. Simple. And easy. Molotov down towards bench. It's up the swing, but actually let's get extinguished by the smoke. And it will allow FB1 to get a kill, but he can't get away with his life intact. As the A site taken.
Looking good then. We do have these rotators coming in. Potentially another kill. Oh. Okay. I don't think I've ever really seen anything. Just a little bit of miscoordination on the jump throw. Not releasing mouse 1. Usually the issue is releasing mouse 1 a bit too soon, isn't it? You know, and not getting a fully fledged jump throw, I think. But there you are. AK being saved. NC still in the mix to try and take a name down with him. They know about him. They're going to train in, and they will indeed drop him. So Chile move up to 3, scot-free at this stage. Brazil back round with a buy in the next one, though. We expect them to put something up here. They're going to have to.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. 3-2. Chile. This T side, at the very least, looking pretty solid. Don't want to risk anything early doors here for Chile, but they're playing quite a nice Counter-Strike. Nothing needs to change here. We said we need to change out of them when things were going really bad. Things are going really well. Nothing needs to change up in this situation so far. Brazil back in towards their buy. Don't find this one, and they kind of allow Chile to get up towards already 5 rounds, which on T side, in a lot of cases, is workable. Here comes deep. Does damage on towards Alexa, but with an AWP, not really the worst thing in the world. He won't care that much.
Quick 1-for-1. No one else towards mid for the T side, though. Chile looking to overwhelm this A-bomb site with a quick execute here. So everything out of step, out of tempo for Brazil. Maybe don't quite know what is coming their way, but it's severely slowed down. Orphan, first fight, he wins it. It is a trade, though. Again, looking good for Brazil. They've got everyone here ready to go. They're trapped in at Tetris. Bit of a classic, unfortunately. Down to the 1v1. Alex are on the Tech 9. Closes the gap. Can't find it. 2 times of asking. 3rd time he will indeed get it. Oh my goodness. A mess for Alex, but a conversion in the end.
Okay. And I guess that is all that Chile will care about. Round being taken, seeing another one on the board, and starting to build up a bit of a lead over Brazil here. There's a 2-round buffer. There's going to be a little buy coming through. It's not a full force, but at least a small investment coming through where we do see a Scout, a triple MP9, and a 5.7. This is a somewhat workable investment. I'm going to completely count out Brazil just yet, but for Chile, much better. Haven't seen them look good for a while. Mirage is always the great litmus test, it does feel as well. Mirage is always the one where it feels like if you're going to be a side who need to test your mettle, this is it. Brazil falling a little flat here.
Oh. NZ with the fadeaway, okay. He wants that AK. It's just out of reach for the elasticated arms here. But as the peaks come round, as the flank comes in, they'll get a bit more confidence. Lots of info here, looking really good for Brazil. This is exactly what you want from a round like this. Get aggressive. Get curious, and you never know what you might come away with. The timing works out for SKL. Alexa finds himself to clutch up. This is a pretty big one compared to the previous round. 4 in total. He's got info on a couple now. Knows this guy is locked in. Trigger discipline will pay off. Expecting something on the other side of the smoke. Oh, he's crept in. He's crouched behind the box. It's a nice idea, but NC super ready for that.
Yeah, nicely done. Brazil, we said that was a buy that felt workable, and that's a good way of showcasing how that tag and bag strategy that normally comes to fruition. The 5-7 gets that first with that maybe slightly lucky fadeaway shot. But, hey, a nice shot all the same. All right. One round the difference. And a bit of a funky buy as well. That has to come through for Chile in losing that one. They've got a Scout out, so I'm going to pistols. A double AK to support. Chance here for Brazil to tie this game up. And not only that, potentially even take the lead back as well. You find this, you break the economy of Chile, which would be huge.
Tapping away here. It's the AWP, though, that we're keeping the eyes on. BKS. Immediately known. A weapon recovery on the cards, but got to be careful, right? Your life is finite here. FP1 trying to make sure of that. He does so. Oh, nearly. But he's traded. It's all good. 4v2, an advantageous position here for Brazil.
All right. Let's get out. Orphan gets caught, more or less confirmed this round in place. It's a Tech 9, 1 Molotov. Full HP, but I don't think this one's getting off the ground. Wants to try and get a bomb plant out of here, but there's going to be 2 towards A, 2 towards B. Wherever he goes, he's at a disadvantage. Unlikely, to say the least. Should get caught, and won't. In all fairness, SKL does for the Tech 9. Trying to overwhelm the AWP. A couple of missed shots. Oh, the fadeaway isn't bad either. Bomb gonna go down.
The drive-by frag. And he's immediately out of there to try and get his hands onto a rifle. They do not give him the respect, however. PKS takes him down. Brazil up to 4. Weathering the storm there. That looked a little scary after that Tech 9 frag. Either way, it's a good look here. Chile start off strong again. Struggle to keep it going. And you can see some of the individuals also struggling to get into the game. So when the rifles have come in, when we get that conventional Counter-Strike, maybe a little less random. That's what we always sort of say about the pistols, unfortunately. And
True.
Brazil have managed to bring it back to them.
Absolutely. All tied. This is sort of what we wanted for a map 3. make sure that we get a bit of a game out of this. We've had two very one-sided games. 13-4 Dust2, 13-4 Anubis. Feels pretty unlikely with how this game's played out so far that from a full raw standpoint, we're going to get a 13-4. But then again, maybe arguably I thought that as well in Anubis. So you can't completely count it out.
Kind of one of those rounds that you spend talking over the next, it would seem. Chile not really going for anything here, just hanging around. You can feel the pressure that is building, right? That's kind of one of the big things here. It's a little scary the way that Brazil are looking and the cleanliness of these rounds ultimately. Oh, FP1 maybe staring at his minimap ever so slightly, but he survives the first, survives the second as well. So not going to matter too much. Alexa continues, doesn't he? Making himself known in these rounds, but that looks to be in vain. He might take another name, to be fair to him, but the round itself, surely not.
It'd be quite nice if you could maybe get a kill, potentially an upgrade to put a bit of pressure on, but it's so unlikely, isn't it? Looking for a boosted player onto his bricks. Nobody there. FP1 spots him. Doesn't need to fight. Nade will come down as well, and that could even do a little bit more. He does just dip past it to avoid. He's a dead man walking. I think the big thing is also making sure you do die before time. Brazil going to find the lead back in their favor. Chile will be able to buy it back in towards this next round. That was always a little bit of a throwaway in the sense of the investment being low, but they now can reinvest in. However, reinvesting is all good, but a bit more pressure on their shoulders. You lose this, and Brazil are probably going to be going in at bare minimum 7 rounds, which on CT side is normally what you'd ask of them. I think with this map being the second most CT side map in the pool, 7-5 feels like the raw handshake of a round difference from that CT side.
Big rifle coming in. Chile not wasting any time with the round there. They are executing straight into A. BKS unfettered as he finds the first. In on that AWP. Looking for a little bit more here as well. Can he get slightly spammed, but it's all good. SKL does well to find one under pressure. They brought it back to a 3 versus 3 here. FP1 on the other side of the smoke is pretty much all they've got. Keeping control of the site. The big thing, of course, is the fact that the bomb has not gone down. The smokes have now passed. So this Brazil side have an opportunity to maybe even stop the bomb plant from coming in. NC at con is what we're keeping our eyes on.
Can't deny that bomb going down. A tough 3v3 here, but either side 2. That's a nice find from Dopweek. Sang's going to find 2. Now Dopweek left in a 1v2 situation. There's the first, but he can't find the second. FP1. Going to see it off, and another round goes the way of Brazil. Looking for upgrades here. And we'll be seen off in the end. Nicely done. Has to be said for Brazil, making sure that Dopweek doesn't run riot too much in this one, but still walks away with 3 kills to his name, which ain't bad at all. The 6-4 scoreline. Here at the very least for Brazil isn't bad. The bomb plant could mean a buy back into this if you wanted for Chile, but it would be a little bit of a slightly haphazardly one. We might actually just see Dopweek, AK, and the rest of the team have a half investment.
Okay, this is a bit troublesome now. Brazil looking good under pressure as well, right? We've had some workable rounds for Chile. That one felt like one of their better ones in recent memory, and they could not get it going. Just slightly off kilter when it comes to, you know, the peaks and when it comes to where they want to focus their attention. B-Burst coming in. Speed again, the name of the game. Trying to force the issue big style towards the tail end. That's tough for NC. Felt like he had a moment to get a spray down in there, but unable. Sank, tagged down low. BKS just about finding a kill, but he's going to drop as well. Oh, that was a little close. SKL manages the cross. P1 gets tagged up by the scout here, trying to recover the AWP, getting a bit desperate on the Brazilian side, and you would expect it. With the tag coming in, 2v3, feels like a save situation, doesn't it? But is what happens. You stick around, kills come your way. Top Weak moves in and will get the double spray down off the back of the reload queue. Chile have finally broken the streak.
Yeah, and needed as well, just to make sure that Brazil don't completely run away with the tail end here. So, I guess nicely done in this instance, but the other side too, we've got to get... I mean, if Chile can make it 6-all, I think it's actually a pretty decent T-side in kind of a more macro look at the things, right? But being this one of the more CT-sided maps in the pool, getting 6 is pretty solid. Like I said, 7-5 feels like a handshake. The buy's a little scrappy for Brazil, though. MP9 and Scout have to come into play. They have made one of these sort of rounds work already. I don't completely count them out.
Ooh, close. But no Scout. Nade follows him. He's already out of there, but it's a nice opening tag for Chile to capitalize on. They do look comfortable here. Bomb going to be retrieved at the top end of middle. And looking for a quick B split. We're all the way up short. I don't know that this has necessarily been considered, to be honest. BKS, though. I'm going to assume he's boosted up. He is indeed. So we'll see what he can do. M4 up here is pretty rare. He goes early. And it costs him his life.
Yes.
So you're going to play that angle, make it work. However, Chile moving up to 6. One would assume a wild attempt here from the Brazilian rotations. Not going to happen. It's just FP1.
Oh. Bit of damage. He's going to be making a grand event. I say that. Still got time to work with. Oh, breaking up his own smoke is a bit risky, and he's going to be Tech 9 drived by Alexa at the end. 6-all. Couple of rounds for Chile at that tail end of the half, which really secure actually a pretty solid one as they're moving towards the second half. Actually, a little bit of confidence to work with too. Brazil had some prime opportunities. They had 4 in a row, which got them up towards 6. It looked like a pretty solid opportunity for them to take a lead in towards the second. They don't. Maybe might not the confidence, but it puts a little bit more onus on this pistol as well. Win this, and you're really going to take some early momentum in towards the next. And, you know, for Brazil on the T side, you take a pistol, you get a bomb plant. We talk about a real nice buy-in towards the next. Chile have liked the force buy, but with not too much success, that could be where you take your streaks. Same thing in reverse, though, for Chile on the CT side.
Hanging out in the palace. Brazil looking to pull off something a little different here. The execute comes in. This is conventional. Out from Palace might not be expected. We'll see. Oh, the USPs at range. They look quite good. And the bomb plant is really going to be difficult here. They have to clear out CT. Getting in the face of the CT side. Alexa to try and keep them in it. Oh, closes the gap and mows them down. Crisp as you like. Chile with the pistol.
All right, Chile. Now, in taking that one so comfortably too, I think that's really going to add towards where now they have a lot to work off. No bomb block coming out from Brazil, so not going to be able to buy any. I don't think you'd want to, at the very least, you wouldn't be able to bring a hell of a lot. Maybe Tech 9's armor if you want to do something completely audacious. We'll see. This is a big spot that Chile have given themselves to start off this half. 6th and probably going to be, I mean, a 7th and probably going to be an 8th as well. So there isn't too much to fight off against the other side. Huge, nice double for Waiting to start as well. Adds more to it. Nice and simply. Brazil left down to 2.
Yep, looking comfortable here. MP9 looking to make a bit more money off the back of these unarmored opponents as well. All right, spoke too soon. He drops. Bomb plant coming in. Orphan struggling, I think it is safe to say. M4's getting into the mixture, though, going to be difficult to deal with, of course. If Sank can take one more, I think they'd be happy with that. Not going to happen for him. But still, getting a bomb plant out of that, you know, 2v5 situation. Slight bit of oversight, leaving the kind of low-fragging B-anchor all by himself.
Yeah. In the end, I mean, a bomb plant is something you'll take every day of the week. I think it's a small little silver lining, but it still is going to be an 8-6 Chile in a pretty decent spot, all in all. I think for them, this first gun round that comes through, they've got a bit of a bonus. I mean, maybe a little bit more of an investment than they would have hoped for, but in the end, right, you know, what is generally seen as a bonus by coming in towards this, bringing in guns to that previous round. If Chile can make this work for them, Brazil could be really in trouble.
All right, let's see. Really, really curious now as Chile, for a little while there, it felt like maybe Brazil were going to do the same as Anubis. But they have managed to refine themselves towards the tail end of the first half, into the second here as well. Look pretty good. Orphan, aggressive stance, takes out Sank. B Apartments completely cut off.
Okay. For now, let's go eerily quiet. As Brazil are trying to make a bit of a move, but stop weak. Gonna get gifted that one. NC jumping into his window gets caught. He's had a slow game so far. Things have been tough for him.
Now what for Brazil? Trying to wait for this flank coming in from Connector, I believe. Hope that he can do something. All three of them split. So it has to be incredibly efficient. Palace player drops. FP1 gets taken out as well. BKS, the only one to find some success. Maybe put some respect on the name here. Nade. Oh, firing at it, you know, just sort of reacting to what he can. He gets tagged down super low. The nade actually finishes him even at that far distance. So Chile with a big win. 9-6, threatening the game now. And of course, that qualification spot.
This is really getting difficult. There's no two ways about it. Brazil, I mean, money, real feeble once again. I mean, gun rounds aren't working. The low buys are really not getting anything. I mean, even got a bomb plot in the last low buy as a small silver lining, but it was never going to be taken in their favor. Oh, this is tough. Chile should get a 10th here. I mean, at that point, we're talking maybe 2 gun rounds left in this for Brazil, and that's even if you're being fortunate.
Big nade damage to kick things off in the Palace. They're looking to go for a variation on their pistol strategy here. Get everyone waterfalled out. This time maybe looks a little better. Bomb plant certainly secured. Can they take the round though, of course? Going to be the big question here. Lovely touchdown nade. And it results in a number of frags. Super, super clean finish from Chile there. They are looking good here. The energy getting to them. Feeling pretty confident.
This is tough. I'm not feeling good for Brazil. Wouldn't mind a timeout, Brazil. I'm going to throw it out there into the ether. Wouldn't mind a little tack pause. Let's have a conversation. This gun round is of the utmost importance. You lose this, you give yourself little to no more opportunities, really, to find a way back into this. And they're just going to go off the back of the you know, sub 20 seconds that you've got. And say that's enough. I don't know if it is. Alexa does take a knife to start this one off, though, which is not good. But I guess, fortunately, if anyone's going to get knifed, is the AWPer, which is, I guess, not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I suppose that is kind of maybe your silver lining of it here. But every little helps Brazil at the moment. They have to answer back quickly. This game is getting away from them. They lose this one, and it feels like it's locked in. So, yeah, danger zone ahead. Brazilian side of things. 30 seconds. Just over gone at this point. And Brazil have got the mid control. What are they going to do with it? Bit of a classic here. Get behind the con smoke and try and roll around. They were expecting maybe a bit more of a short play. Doesn't happen. 5-on-4 immediately in favor of Brazil. But they're all coming through connector. They've all been spotted. Another bit of short presence. Can't find success. Orphans continuing to struggle there. But they are ready. They're very, very ready here on this A-bomb site. AWP still in play. Bomb going to go down. No attempt to try and deny it. They're banking on this flank. Oh, the spray transfer from Katzen is clean. The AWPer goes down. 2 versus 2 looks good. Katzen undealt with here. Absolute menace in from ramp. A smoke to SKL might be the boring finish, but surely should be able to get the defuse in. He's on the ladder, and it makes life difficult. The transfer needed to be instantaneous. It wasn't there. An absolutely crazy finish into round 18. but it's a Chilean finish, and it's a strong one as well. They are 2 rounds away from the spot at the World Esports Championships.
Yeah, fair play as well. Brazil have fallen quite flat here off the back of 13 rounds in a row on Anubis. Really solid start as well in towards this third map where it looked like maybe that momentum would have carried over. Now, not looking anything of the case. They are dwindling. Buy-in for Brazil. And again, no, attack pause or anything. They're just going straight into it. Hello? Flying up cap. Sang doesn't even bother to look in towards Connect, and he has nobody near him to pull off the trade. It's a brazen decision, and I think that is Tilt playing in there massively. That has to be.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Such an important moment. And it may well be the straw that broke the camel's back. Not sure if that was supposed to be a jump in towards the window either. But either way, it's a 5v3 now, and that comes super early on in the round. No real trade of anything, info, even the utility, not loads of it drawn out of Chile here. So a super strong position for them to be in. Brazil going to try and give the A-bomb site a go once again.
All right. I'll flash over. Does actually catch the Palace player. "35 seconds or so to work with Brazil. Trying to make a bit of a move. This is to keep them in this game. In the 5v3, it's not easy, but they will get the first, which is good. Second, off for the taking. PKS going to get it as well. There he comes round. Dopweek and Orphan combine. Now into a 1 versus 2, but Dopweek has 1 point of HP.
Yeah, we'll see. The Orb going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Big Molotov. Sure, it doesn't find the kill, but it will indeed reveal its location. Change up in angle from NC is clean. Julies are out. The dink landed, right? He's got information that he's low, and Alexa will find it. Patience pays off. The beat comes his way. The 12 secured, and Chile feeling good about it. 6 in a row going to be required from Brazil. May well be able to put up a buy in the next, but they have disappeared into this second half now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Brazil, another one which felt like maybe their best chance. The 1v2 of Dopweek on 1 point of HP. That's a prime opportunity, but it doesn't end up working out for them. 12-6, and we are so close now to seeing this off. And for Chile booking their spots in the World Esports Championship, Brazil will muster together a buy, but while it does have AKs across the board, utility pretty limited as well. Both far difficult to set up. Oh, Alexa, lovely shot.
There you go. Might just be the beginning of the end. Dopweek flash in towards mid to force the issue. Going round for a bit more and indeed gets away with it. FP1 does not have the cover, at least in time. He's revealed now and his head is ripe. Waits in, takes it, and drops that bomb, importantly. So full control given across to Chile. Orphan does go down. Somebody's got to. He's continuing to struggle. The Bianca life for Orphan, but if they get the victory, I don't think he's going to be too bothered. Sank. Hoping a dream here. Smoke goes down. I'd be there for him, yeah. He gets the timing, gets the drop. So just have to be careful. 1 versus 2. Could swing pretty quickly. I like Waitsin's position. Not taking it too quickly. Not giving a clean fight across. He's waiting for his man to come in from down below so they can help each other out here. And indeed, double swing will get it done. Not considering window at all. Why would he? Chile take it. 2-1 in the end. A clean finish out from them. And an unexpected victory here. Brazil come through with a bit of experience from the Brazilian scene with the team banner behind them, but they cannot get it going. 2 very one-sided maps that they drop. The Anubis look good, but that is about it in this series. And indeed, the mental may be going boom towards the end there. That second half drop-off is pretty incredible. But Chile on their side, CT side, looked absolutely fantastic. Some really tight retakes that they managed to work out.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Chile. Booking their spots alongside Argentina the World Esports Championships, being the two teams representing the South American side of things. And credit to them, thoroughly deserved, looked great all the way through. And I think for Chile, you know, where they had their hiccups, they were always a side that you could rely on. The game against Uruguay was quite convincing. I think we liked what we saw out from them for the most part. They did still have these weaknesses, and it's definitely something that has to be plugged heading in towards the LAN environment itself. But ultimately, good to see them qualify. I think towards that map number 3, they really recuperated the losses off towards map number 2. It's tough when you lose 13 rounds in a row, which actually ended up spiraling into like 15 rounds in a row as it seeped a little bit in towards this map number 3. We were really concerned, and they had and showed that sort of mental resilience and saying, right, we can find a way back into this. We're not down and out for the count just yet. So good work from them. I think for Chile, there was Brazil who were trying to make a fight out of this, and in this first half absolutely did, but unfortunately the second half fell apart. And it's Counter-Strike. It's a game of 2 halves, ultimately. You can't just have one solid side. It's not going to be enough.
Yeah, for a minute there, I was feeling the Brazil takeover again, and I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be just another capitulation from Chile. Maybe there is not a super heavy amount of depth to this team, but we've seen some good stuff there. I think it's going to be very telling how they perform in Riyadh for sure, but there are a few individuals that look super consistent throughout. Alexa and Dopweek looked really, really good, I think, in every single game. You know, they felt like the maybe most consistent factors, maybe the only guys that at times were able to put up numbers even in the defeats, even in the one-sided defeats. You can see across the scoreboard as well, that's still reflected. Orphan, it's a tough game for him, to be fair, and there's always got to be takeaways in that sense that you have to maybe keep your eye on. We're not quite sure roles-wise and everything, how these players go down. Maybe he comes through as the IGL. It is also a tough one. He was be anchoring, you know, and there were a lot of rounds in that second half where he was just getting dropped. But on the other side of things, again, BKS looked okay, sank up there in terms of the kills, but they just could not convert them into the rounds. So a tough one. Team-wise, should have been doing a little bit better. I think it should have been a more competitive third map. Even if they do end up losing, I think they will be disappointed in themselves that it ends up going super one-sided, you know, not the look. Not the look.
Yes. Yeah, exactly that. Decent scoreboard as well, just showcasing, again, the individuals that are on display for Chile. And that's something that they're really going to look towards on the LAN environment themselves. Brazil, it was tough. You hate to see it. I mean, obviously, as well, they're a region with a hell of a lot of talent as well. And it maybe, you know, a shame that we didn't see some of those big names, but, you know, it's a super busy time of the year, not only now, but also when the World Esports Championship is on and the rest. So, I mean, I guess it's an unfortunate thing. They just sort of fell apart. I think maybe that's that lack of experience coming through. And when times got really, really tough, it did showcase. Either way, that's only our first series of the day. We've still got plenty more Counter-Strike action for you. So we're going to throw this one to a short break. We'll be back in just a second. Sit tight. We'll see you soon.